Hold on. Oh my God. We've been talking to nobody for
Yeah, pretty
10
much.
minutes.
I was looking at the comments and they're like fashionably late. And I'm like, we've been here for 10 minutes.
We've been streaming
Uh-oh.
for 10 minutes, but I forgot to hit go live.
That was the very, very private lobby entry.
We gave so much good analysis.
Yeah, pretty much that's my whole sheet. I got a little bit left on the
Oh
bikes,
my
but that's
God.
it.
All right. Well, let's roll that one back, EJ. How do you
Yeah,
feel about Eagles Vikings?
I feel great. Every everybody that's been watching, which is nobody except for us. So this is just this is a repeat. This is one of those
Dry
Back to the
run.
Future moments where we get to play it twice. Week one, errors abound. NFL teams are not the only ones screwing it up in week one. So here we are. No, feeling good. The new space is outstanding. The matchup looks good tonight. It's a good game to kick off with. We both got our homage duds on. I'm feeling really good about it. How are you feeling about it now that we're, actually sharing with people?
God damn it, EJ. It's okay. It's okay. At least we caught it 10 minutes in and not like an hour in.
Well, I waited because sometimes there's lag. I waited 2 or 3 minutes, and then I was like, waited a couple minutes more while you're talking, and I was like, I should tell him.
Good Lord. Well, we were kind of breaking it down as we went, why we did the underdog slip that we did. I'm going to throw this link into the chat, by the way, in case any of you guys feel like tailing this. So what we were saying before you joined us or were able to join us was we kind of expected the Vikings under Brian Flores this year to be a man-heavy defense, right? Because he comes from that New England lineage where they love man coverage. They call a lot of zero, mostly middle field close structures, but especially leaning into the man component of that. That was not what Minnesota did last week. They had 0 snaps of cover one the entire game, which is the opposite of how New England played against Philly the week before, where they were 5th across the league in man coverage. 15% of all their coverages were cover 0, which is absolutely insane. And so it's a much different stylistic approach that we might be getting tonight. That being said, the Vikings did call a lot of cover 3. Let me pull up the exact numbers. So they were at roughly 56% cover 3, which was 4th in the league. That is a lot of cover 3. That's like Gus Bradley type defensive play calling there, right? And so in terms of how the Eagles might attack this, EJ and I were looking at Dallas Goedert, hitting the seams against cover 3, like what we saw Mac do last week when the Eagles were leaning heavily into cover 3. Also, speaking of that, TJ Hawkinson also at 49.5. So we're hoping for a lot of passes tonight. We took Kirk higher than 1.5 passing TD. We took Jefferson higher than 93.5, which sounds insane, but also it's Justin Jefferson. So we will believe anything at this point when it comes to his production. And then Devonta Smith. I was waffling between A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith seems like a little bit more manageable of a number against a defense that, again, plays so much cover 3. So with all those flood concepts that Philly likes to call from trips, Devonta is generally going to be the mid-level option, which is going to get fed against cover 3. So, again, we're only 1 week in here. We're trying to figure out exactly how scheme might dictate where the ball goes. We'll see if we get it right. But with only a 1-game sample size, it's tough. So we only did $10 on this slip because we're still trying to feel out exactly what Minnesota is here.
Yeah, it's early. We don't want to blow all our money in one place. But in terms of the Eagles' offense, since we're talking about them, I'm looking for Jalen Hurts to spread the load pretty evenly in terms of catches between A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. I imagine A.J. Brown will have more yards. That's typical. Look for Goddard to get a few of those down the seam. That's what we were talking about. Vikings allowed a couple down the seam to Cade Otton, and Goddard's better than Cade Otton at this point of his career. So maybe double that production. Otton had about 20 yards. I would imagine Goddard has somewhere in the 40s at the end of this game. And this is where Philly's depth just makes them incredibly dangerous, because if you stop the wide receivers, they go to the TE. You stop Goddard, they swing it out to Gainwell on the edge, and he picks up 15 or 20. You finally get that lockdown. There's a big gap in the middle of the field, and Hurts takes off for the easy first. So there's no good answers when they're operating efficiently. They stumbled a little bit in week one, but not terribly. And, Gainwell was the leading rusher in week one, 14 rushes. Newcomer DeAndre Swift, a lot of people were predicting big production for him, drafted him high in fantasy, had 1 touch in week one.
Yeah. I will say the Eagles' backfield is the new Patriots' backfield, in the sense that in the aggregate, they're going to be productive and we're going to enjoy watching them throughout this season. If you ask me to pick which one from week to week to play in fantasy, I'm going to say I don't give a shit. Trade all of them. I don't want to deal with that. It's the same thing that we dealt with in New England for a long time. And I just want no part of that.
No, it's not a friendly thing to try and make money off, that's for sure. It's fun to watch on the football field, but those two things are not necessarily synonymous.
Gainwell's out. I didn't see that.
Oh, I missed it.
Oh, I knew that he was banged up. I didn't realize he was officially out. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, when I wrote my notes this morning, he was not, so that's a late ruling. Interesting. Well, it wasn't going to be easy. Minnesota looked really solid against the run in week one. Rachaad White only averaged 2.3 per carry. So, and look, Philly's defense not going to make it any easier. So,
let's see. First super chats here from Nathan Woolley for $5. Thank you, Nathan. Who's ready to watch Ed Ingram get eaten alive by Jalen Carter to might hurt as both a former lineman and a Vikings fan? Yeah, I feel like this whole September run here might be Ed Ingram's last shot to prove that he can stick, because they've just been hoping and waiting for that to work out for a long time at this point, and I just don't know if it will.
Well, anybody trying to make hay against Jalen Carter is going to be super duper sad, because Eagles had 17 pressures versus Mac and the Pats in week one with 4 rushers or less, meaning that more players are free to roam in coverage and clog passing lanes. Cousins isn't a severe run threat, so you're not going to be, designating a spy to him for the most part. You're basically adding another coverage player. Of those 17 pressures with 4 or less, Jalen Carter had 6.
Yeah.
That ties the most pressures by an interior defensive lineman, rookie defensive lineman, in any week since 2019. So, Jalen Carter came hot out of the gate. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. If he is your matchup for this week, I'm not thinking, oh, this is a get right game. I'm thinking this is a hang on for dear life game and try not to fall off the earth.
I feel like Jalen Carter, very similar to Aaron Donald, is going to be the guy that Bears fans just watch from a distance for 10 years and just wonder. It's like, what if we did take him? Although you didn't even get a shot at Aaron, but still, Jalen,
yeah,
he's going to be intertwined with Bears fandom for a very, very long time, I imagine.
100%. And I imagine, again, we talk about the landing spot. We talked about this in our summer preview series, if you were with us then. And hi to all the new people that joined us over this summer. We added about 40% in subs over the summer and subscribers. So welcome to everybody that is new here. Welcome to everybody that's been with us before. We're happy you're all here. If you haven't already, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification so you don't have to remember every Thursday, oh yeah, bootleg's on. YouTube will tell you, which is handy, but happy you're all here. And yeah, Jalen Carter is the landing spot, very, very different. There wasn't a better landing spot for him in the league than Philadelphia, with all the former Georgia players, with all the veteran players, with all the experience, having been to the Super Bowl. That locker room is uniquely qualified to say, hey, look, you're special on the field, but you're not special. You need to fit in and do it our way. And if you do, you'll have great success. There's a lot of us here that have done that, but you're going to have to fly right to make that happen. And that's a perfect spot for him. He wouldn't have had that at every place throughout the league. I think certainly wouldn't have had that in Chicago. So it reminds me of the Mahomes discussion, right? Which is, Chicago should have drafted Mahomes. And I'm like, do you realize how badly they may have mangled Pat's career if he was
John
drafted?
Fox with Mahomes would
John
have been
Fox,
very
right?
interesting.
So, he will always be linked with the Bears. Absolutely. It's going to be super fun to watch his career. We said throughout the pre-draft process on tape, best player in the draft, most dominant player in the draft, regardless of position. And yeah, had off-field concerns, but seems to have landed and taken right off in Philly.
Hold on, I'm trying to work my way in order. Nipplefucker69, thank you for the $2. Appreciate that. Danny Ollie for $5. Thank you, Danny. Also appreciate you as well for having a name that won't get us demonetized. Mr. Myrtle for $10. Thank you, Myrtle. Just doing a mental health check on fellow Bears fan EJ. Hang in there, brother. The sky's not falling. First thing, EJ, before you jump in here. The sky's not falling, but it's starting to bow a little bit. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we did our first Bears Over Beers of season 5 last night, which just blows my mind. We were not terribly positive, and I don't think we need to be. We're very much improvement mode because the Bears had so much wrong in week 1 that it is not one of those games where you say, oh, if they clean this up and they clean this up, they'll be fine. It was kind of the opposite. If you're looking at, 10 areas on a football team, the Bears were dead wrong in 8 of them and average in 2 of them. And that's a lot after an entire summer to plan, to get ready, to build your personnel and your roster, to take on your rival at home in week 1 and basically vomit up that performance. I would say it's not time to lose your mind, but if you're not a little bit worried right now, I think you might not have a pulse.
The thing that disappoints me the most is Justin still missing the layups. And, JT kind of dove into this in his hour-long magnum opus about the Bears passing game. It wasn't just questionable play designs. It wasn't just breakdowns in protection. It wasn't just him playing hero ball when they went down. Like, there was a lot of just basic quarterback stuff that he missed. And I know it's in there. We've seen him do it before. But I'm starting to get really frustrated with the lack of consistency where we know it's in there, but it's not coming out. And the fact that sometimes we don't see it come out unless everything is absolutely perfect, where they're getting the exact look they want, the protection holds up and everything like that. It's the same criticism that I have for Daniel Jones. It's like, dude, it's not going to be perfect all the time. Go out there and do your job. And I don't know, man. This is the first time where I've slightly wavered because I gave him a lot of grace before there was talent around him. Now there is talent around him. Not like amazing talent, but there's talent.
Oh, for sure.
And we just got to see it. And that was the game where he was supposed to show it, and we just didn't see it. And I'm really, really frustrated by that.
Yeah, if anything, he looked a little bit worse, and that's the concerning part. A lot of people got on Luke Getsy, and look, there are plenty of plays from week 1 where you can get on Luke Getsy. Like, there were some – I'm just going to say it. There were some dumbass designs from week 1. But also, there were really good, clean – and I mean clean, wide-ass open looks that Justin should be hitting. Like, DJ Moore was open very cleanly 3 times. Claypool was open at least twice, where it is as open as you're ever going to see it in the league. I'm not even talking about NFL open. I'm talking like college open. Like 3-step drop, hit the back 3rd step, and rip it. And we know he can. Like, again, like you said, it's frustrating. We've seen him do it. But there's 5 throws that he left on the field right there that were well designed, that got a guy open, that did exactly what they were supposed to do in exactly the window they were supposed to do it. He was looking at it. He pulled it down. He hitched. He hit the check down. He took off. He did anything but. And if he hits those 5 throws, he's easily got 75, 80 yards more passing, and probably a couple of more scores. Maybe not touchdowns, but, 10 more points easily. Now, does that win them the game? No, but it would indicate, hey, he's hitting it when it's there. It's progress. So it's that sort of regression, not even what we've seen him do in the past when he's supposed to be progressing, that worries me as well.
Fade asked in the chat, is there a promo code to use? And yes, there is on Underdog. If you use promo code bootleg, that'll double your deposit up to $100. So again, I'll throw the link in one more time so you guys can tail it if you're already on Underdog. But if you're not, that link will also take you to Underdog, and if you use promo code bootleg, they'll double your deposit. And you can also do slips mid-game now too, which is a new thing this year. So if you feel like filling out those mid-game slips along with us today, feel free to sign up now before the game starts.
Huge thanks, Dog, for supporting the show for the next couple of years. They're super excited by our progress. We are thrilled to be able to make that progress. Thanks very much in part to them. Absolutely. If you are in the market, feel like you've got that in control and want to support them, please do. They are fantastic to work with, and we couldn't be happier to have them as partners for the next couple of years.
Jared for $10. Thank you, Jared. Love the new setup, EJ. Will we see some Bears stuff go up in the background? Also, thoughts on the Browns as a whole, from the new and improved defense to Watson hopefully returning to form? I'll take the Browns part first.
Sure.
It cannot be understated how important the Jim Schwartz edition has been. Letting his very talented secondary be a very talented secondary. Pulling up the numbers here, the Browns were second in man coverage last week at about 36%. The fact that they're finally leaning into the fact of, hey, we have a whole bunch of superhuman corners is so important, because it means that they can drop an extra safety down to help play against the run, which they struggled with last year because they were playing so many too high structures, but they didn't have the interior defensive line talent to get away with that. They did improve the interior defensive line this year, but still the fact that they can lean into, we're going to drop an extra body down there because we can survive outside, means that overall their run defense is better. They're letting their dudes be dudes, so their pass defense is better. Myles Garrett is still Myles Garrett. Zadarius Smith is still a force. Like, the talent hasn't changed that much in Cleveland, but I feel like the coaching at least particularly on defense, the coaching has improved so much that we're finally seeing that talent take over. And they could very easily, very, very easily be a top 10 defense this year, which might be all they need to make the playoffs.
We've been extolling the virtues of Cleveland's roster and roster building process for a couple of years now, saying they are loaded at every position. They are just taking pieces that they want, not pieces that they need. They have 2 and 3 guys at, every level. You talked about the defensive secondary. We looked at that last year in the preview series and said, man, they got 6 dudes back there. They got high draft picks. They got people that have outperformed their draft picks. They have a lot of people in the secondary, and we were looking for that, sort of early boost that we've seen this season. Last season never really got there for a bunch of reasons. Going to be exciting to watch Cleveland if they continue to maximize talent, especially on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, they've given people a bunch of, really difficult games. And, Nick Chubb is always going to be Nick Chubb. Quarterback position, we'll see what Deshaun Watson brings them.
He didn't play well last week.
Yeah, I think, again, he doesn't have to be outstanding because they have so many other outstanding pieces. They can win in other ways if he's average, but he has to be average. And he certainly wasn't that last year. Are we going to see Bears stuff go up in the new studio? Yeah, probably. The funny thing about this rebuild is it's not quite finished. Like, this part is finished, and this weekend we will probably finish the last bits of paneling over there and trim and be done with all the quote unquote heavy construction stuff. And then it's just like wiring and setting up surround sound and doing all the sort of tweaking stuff. So we've been recording pods in it this week. It's been working out really well, kind of testing the new setup. Really clean. Enjoy it. And it's comfortable. It's flexible. I'm going to be able to use it in different ways for draft season. If Brett ever comes up, well, I know he's coming up. When Brett comes up, we'll be sitting on the couch, which is not yet in here. Really interesting, flexible space, and I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, decoration is not going to happen until we're done like gluing things to the walls.
Damn, Lincoln Financial just set off a million fireworks at once. That's so cool. All right, we got kickoff coming up here in about 5 seconds. We will have a score bug here so you guys can follow along exactly where we're at. And, all right, ball is kicked.
Oh, you're ahead of me. I'm going to have to try and get up to speed.
Oh, are you slightly lagged behind?
A little bit.
Yeah, that's fine. All right.
Well, sort of.
Eagles got ball first. Again, we are very curious to see what the Vikings come out in defensively because they did not run cover one a single time last week. So all their middle field close stuff was cover three. Let's see if they do that again this week. All right. Looks like Hurts did a hard count to see what they're in. Oof. That was sort of too invert on the first snap. That's interesting. How far behind are you each?
I just got the first snap, so a ways.
Oh, wow.
I just tried
like
to
30 seconds back.
Yeah, so.
All right, 2nd and 4
I'll
here
work
for the
on
Eagles. Early down
We'll
fire
just-
zone. Here comes Ivan Pace.
Because that's working better.
Is that first career sack for Ivan Pace? At least damn close to it. Might have been no gain.
All right.
He's so freaking good as a blitzer, man.
Undrafted. Okay, so there's 2 undrafted players in this game, one on each side. Josh Jobe, I assume, is starting for Bradbury because he's in concussion protocol.
I believe so.
So
and I think that's
Josh
who Pace just
Jobe,
beat.
yeah, Josh Jobe on the Alabama corner that's, now with Philly, never should have gone undrafted. Anywhere past mid-4th, I would have been completely comfortable with him. And he ends up going undrafted. Philadelphia benefits. Same for the Vikings. Ivan Pace, one of my defensive gems out of Cincinnati. Best blitzing inside linebacker in this draft class, bar none, and goes undrafted. Vikings pick him up. Flores is a perfect match for him, and they just basically unleash him. So when we say that UDFAs matter, there's one on each side. They're starting tonight. They're going to make impact.
Hurts just beat a contain rush from Danielle Hunter, which tells you how special an athlete he is. Because Hunter was literally rushing as a contain rusher on fire zone. So he is deliberately staying outside, and Hurts just took like a half-yard dip to still have space and then just accelerated around him. That's incredibly frustrating if you're a defensive coordinator to have the right call and he just still beats you.
Yeah, especially if you've got that guy as Danielle Hunter, who's got plenty of length and all the speed in the world. Good quicks. And again, I mentioned at the top, it's what makes Philadelphia's offense so incredibly frustrating is you can have all the right answers on defense, schematically, sometimes even in personnel, sometimes both, and still lose. And that's disheartening stuff.
Well, so far, other than that one run from Hurts, Vikings defense is playing well. They're tackling well. DBs are flying around. They're getting in the backfield. We'll see if they can keep that up because they're definitely going to have to. .44, is that Josh Metellus? Did he take a hit to the head, chat? It's unfortunate if he did. All right, too high structure on 2nd and 11. Looks like it's quarters. Pace again, getting another pressure. And there's Devonta Smith. We might have just hit our first over on one play. Oh, no. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, he just split it. Caught the safety flat-footed, and he just ran right by him.
Oh, and it was underthrown too.
I know, that could have been 6.
Devonta rocking the bling on the field. He is known for his pregame outfits, but he just kept that thing on.
All right, so Devonta is at 60 receiving yards, and we took higher at 66.5, so I'm feeling decent about this, chat.
Feels like we might hit that
feeling
one.
Very decent. All right, do we get some 0 in the red zone like what New England played last week? Doesn't seem like it so far.
Oh, what are you drinking, by the way?
I have coffee because I have a ton of work to do after this tonight. So
yeah, I found out I have to do a little bit.
Can't get too schmammered.
I thought we were finishing construction on Saturday, but I heard that tomorrow afternoon actually, because the guy I'm working with is getting off a little bit early, so I have to do some prep before he gets here after this. But I am drinking Good Life Brewing's Sweet as Pacific Ale. It's good stuff. Goes down very easily. What is it? 6% by volume. Good Life Brewing. Great stuff if you can get it where you're at.
There was our first 0 call, which is a common
What's
mid
your
to low red zone
game
call,
clock at right now?
because you can kind of just park your heels on the goal line, get pressure, force things quick, and then just rally and tackle. So good job getting off the field from the Vikings. They did have 4 0 calls last week, which was fairly up there across the league. So they don't play cover 1, but Flores still does have that New England cover 0 identity somewhere in there. All right, let's catch up on some super chats now that we're going to get a commercial break here. Max Robinson for $5. Thank you, Mac. Dude, we are so back. Had a rough offseason. Pretty bad house fire. Oh, my God. I'm sorry. That's horrible.
Yeah, that's
I hope everything's
awful
okay
news.
with that.
I'm glad that I hope nobody was hurt.
He says, I'm so stoked Ball is back, and I get to have weekly Derek Carr-induced meltdowns.
I don't know. Derek Carr passed for 300 in week 1. Come on.
If in the offseason you dealt with a house fire and your first thought is, God, I can't wait to watch Derek Carr play football, I'm sorry, man. Really sorry. Okay. Ole S. Krabs for $5. Thank you, Krabs. Bears fan here. The sky's not falling, but the curtain on the Poles/Eberflus era might just be. Thus has to look better fast. Agreed, it does. This was supposed to be the year that there was a huge jump. Bears fans have been waiting through all the slash and burn with the cap and, all the trades and acquiring assets. Like, this was supposed to be the year that they weren't complete ass. We weren't asking them to be great. We were just saying, don't be ass. And so far, they've been ass. So, yeah, they get 6 weeks, basically. Consti for €5. Thank you, Consti. Let's go. I caught my sleep beforehand so I can pull through the game and don't be a zombie at work. Also, I love the new interior in EJ's basement. For those of you not familiar with Consti, he's coming to us from Germany. So
that's right.
For everybody watching from Europe, we appreciate you guys for being awake in the early AM hours with us.
And Brazil and Taiwan. When we used to pay for our own podcast hosting, the audio side, I could look up reports for where the podcast was being downloaded around the globe. And I remember when we hit very early on, like 100 countries, then we hit 150, then we hit 200 countries, even before we switched our podcast hosting. And that always just amazed me. The depth of fandom. We know, obviously, the US, Canada, the UK, but Germany's number 4, Brazil was number 5. Just a real thirst for, American football worldwide, and people logging in during the draft stream saying, yeah, it's 3 a.m. and I'm staying with you. I mean, always amazes me.
Just got a kickoff from the Eagles here. Looks like we got a fair catch, or a touchback, excuse me. Malik Dozer for $2. Thank you, Malik. Addison, Cooper, Flowers, or Dotson in the flex. I mean, Addison's already going. Honestly, I might lean Flowers there anyway, just because it seems like the Ravens are making a very concerted effort to feed him the ball.
Yeah, he seems to be. I mean, he had a very good week 1, and Matt Harmon, who, if you don't follow Matt Harmon, you should, does reception perception. Matt does great work, has for many years. Made a good point in his review of Zay Flowers' week 1 performance, saying, yeah, a lot of things were schemed open, and that's great. He caught them all, and that's not all he can do. He's not at his ceiling, right? He can do so much more than that. So he did great in week 1, and that's not it. So don't look at the scheme touches and say, oh, it's only going to work if they scheme him touches. Know that, he's got more in the tank and could do things all over the field. And that's, going to continue to have Baltimore, Todd Monk, and the offensive coordinator highlighting Zay Flowers as a primary in that offense.
Beautiful stair step from Justin Jefferson on that crossing route, which at least Kyle Shanahan, he has 2 different types of crossing routes. Well, more than 2, but particularly down the field.
Wait a minute.
Cross, and then he calls it a high cross. In a high cross, they add what's called a stair step to it, so it's going up and up, and then you take the stair step, and what that's supposed to do is if the DB's thinking about slingshotting onto the low hip on a normal cross, the stair step makes them step back, and then you do it again, right? So it's a common thing that you see offenses from the general Shanahan-McVay trees, that high cross with the stair step built in to panic the DB, which I think was Slay here, and then you throw it after that second little movement. Works all the time.
What are you thinking about the quick screen game from Kevin O'Connell? I'm not loving that.
For a lot of that in that offense, it's just a numbers call. So if they feel like they get the numbers, they'll just try it. And it's just a little one-word thing, right? Where it's, hey, if we think we're getting 2-on-2, he'll just say it, and then they just run it.
And it is, look, it's first quarter. We're still in the script. He's poking right now. He's prodding to see how they react, and he'll adjust later on.
KJ Osborne wants the flag there. I don't know if we're going to get a replay of it. God, Jordan Davis is so overpowered. That's not okay for like a 335-pounder to be able to do.
Yeah, I think with all the focus on Jalen Carter and all the existing assets that the Eagles had on the defensive line, that sometimes we kind of forget about Davis. Like, oh yeah, Thanos still exists.
Oh, fumble! Eagles got it back. But that was very near disaster.
All right, this is something we're going to have to get over. What's your game clock at, Brett?
Hold on. Clock's not on the screen at the moment.
Okay.
And they just went to commercial break.
Yeah, I switched feeds, but I just saw the fumble you were talking about, so I'm.
Are you on Twitch behind. Or are you on Amazon?
Amazon. Yeah, Prime.
Go to the Twitch channel specifically for Amazon Prime Video, because I'm watching it on Twitch. That might be faster.
Oh, that's gonna take me a second. I don't think I have.
That's halftime adjustments, EJ.
Yeah, it's halftime adjustments for me. I do not have Twitch loaded up on the TV. I have everything else loaded up on the TV. I got Disney Plus and Prime and ESPN Plus and YouTube TV and everything else loaded up on the TV. I did not load up Twitch. Rookie mistake.
Stair step is for man coverage in the West Coast offense. Yes, true, because that's the best way to break man is to add that little stair step in. If they get a zone look, like if the corner zones off and the safety cuts it, they'll run that. Actually, I have time to draw it up. 1 second. So,
all right, you go whiteboard. I'm gonna just empty the chair here for a minute and see if I can't pull that up on the desktop, because I might be able to do that more quickly than I can on the TV.
right. So, again, here's the stair step drawn up, right? So if this corner is in man, and he's undercutting it right there, the stair step will make him have to then respect the takeoff, and then you could break off. However, if they read zone here, so if he reads the cross and then he's just zoning off and the safety is nailing down, which is how a lot of defenses like to handle like the deep post and the cross. Like some guys call that Dino. So like if you get like big post right there, right? So they'll zone off and have the corner handle on the backside. They'll convert this crossing route, or they'll take out the high stair, I should say, and he'll cut it flat without the stair step. And he'll come down here and almost kind of like work back towards the quarterback to get away from the safety that's nailing down. So there are multiple ways to run that route depending on the coverage, but against man, like you said, they will add in the stair step. Hope that made sense for you guys. All right. Hurts letting it go. Goddard could not bring it in.
Not going to be a quick adjustment.
It's fine. It's for week 2.
Yeah, it's annoying, though, that there's that much difference between the two feeds because, yeah, that's fairly horrendous stuff.
So that was an interesting look. They had, I couldn't tell if it was 4 or 5, but they had all their DBs basically heels at the sticks on 2nd and 10, inviting the quick hitter so they could rally and tackle and get to 3rd down. They were not playing the quick game there whatsoever. They weren't even playing the run game there whatsoever. They're just like, yeah, we'll take the 3rd and 5. All right, presenting cover 3 here again, which we saw a lot last week. Let's see if they invert it like they did in the first drive. Oh, we got a false start. They do exist.
They do exist. I assume you saw what I sent you.
Of course they're adjusting it this week. Of course they are. Also, was that on lane? They did call it on lane. Oh, but that one definitely was a false start. Yeah, that was a real one.
As opposed to the unreal ones.
Yeah. All right, they went into a drop 8 cover 2 there. Again, just inviting the run, inviting quick game, get off the field, rally and tackle, all that nonsense. But it worked.
Legacy false start. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. That one was a legit false start. He did the step, and it was not an adjustment. It was he thought they were on. It must have been he thought they were on 1, but they were really on 2. Oh, we got Eagles blocking themselves. Huge return. Oh, fumble again. Oh, my God. Okay. Welcome to Thursday Night Football.
It was a ride last year. It's going to be a ride again this year.
Oh, man. Who was that stripped it? Trying to get a number. 30? Do not have the Eagles depth chart memorized. I should, though.
30, I'm guessing DB, but you never know. Justin Evans, the strong safety.
The Texas A&M kid from way back when. I think he was Texas A&M.
Yep, you were correct.
I don't know why I knew that, but I did.
Original team, Tampa Bay. 6 foot, 200 pounds. Playing special teams for the Eagles and making a difference. Also
Owen says, why is he scrambling on a 3-man rush? Because there was 8 guys in coverage, so there was nothing open. Which is the point of the coverage. All right, now we're getting
one
game
involved. Now I'm having trouble remembering what we said to ourselves in the open and what we said to all the folks.
Yeah.
But I mentioned that DeAndre Swift had 1 carry last week, and of course he's in now and getting multiple carries. So, there you go.
Well, they were throwing, and not really getting anything out of it. So,
yep. And Gainwell, as we said in the open, he wasn't marked out officially this morning when I was writing on my notes, and by game time they'd ruled him out. So we're going to see a lot more of Swift than I think we probably would have had Gainwell been healthy.
All right, so we got a 5:05, and oh man, who was that? Hicks, who was the front side edge, and he just jumped inside, gave up the goose.
You remember what Matt Bowen said to us and when we had him on pre-draft and we were talking about players? He said, if you can't set the edge, I don't care what level it is, high school, college, pro, it's going to be a long day. It's a dirty job.
That's the thing is
guys,
he had it set,
make a long
but then
career
he just
of doing it.
folded.
But if you can't do it, that's what you get.
We got a sack here from Daniil Hunter. Working against a guard. Oh, was that Pace again? Yeah, Pace is just setting up the pins and everybody else is knocking him down. This kid is fucking unreal.
And if you listened to our Defensive Gems episode before the SEC got all mad about it, you knew. There were 100,000 of you. That was our best viewed episode ever before the SEC got uppity about the film. And Ivan Pace was on there. He was one of my very first Defensive Gems because I just loved his energy. His ability to blitz was really special, but I thought he was a decent player in a lot of other phases too. He was by no means a one-trick pony. And then you hear that, he goes undrafted, very surprising. Something there we don't know, whether it's off the field or medical, but he ends up with Flores, who is like the perfect match for him in terms of a coach. And, a lot of people were like, oh my God, Ivan Pace is starting. And I'm like, this is surprising to you? If you were listening to us, pre-draft and midsummer, like you knew this was coming.
All right, 3rd and 16. Let's see if they can dig out of this hole. Oh, pick! Was that Mackay? I think it might have been Mackay Blackman. $25. I think that's Mackay. He wanted it all and got burned. All right, let's see what the coverage was. Yeah, they're not going to show us. That's annoying. Oh, no, Jackson. Not Blackman.
Not a great throw. Hurts had a choice to go 2 ways on that, even on that side of the routes, and chose poorly. Honestly, if Jackson hadn't picked it off, the second defender would have. They were both in front of the receiver.
Yeah, backup safety, Theo Jackson. Mekhi Blackman is 5, not 25. That was my bad. Yeah, once I can see what coverage that actually was, I can draw it up for you guys. That's the hard part about broadcast is we have to hope that the replay gods will give us something we can use. What were we saying before that pick? Oh yeah, Ivan Pace. He's a fucking dude. He went to the absolute
Yeah, he was
perfect
a dude
defense for him.
in a very particular way that once he was connected with Flores, we both went, oh no. That's, just post draft. The UDFA process happens so quickly. It's kind of like, it reminds me of the first day of free agency. Oh, they just signed this, hugely complicated deal in 20 minutes. How'd they do it? Oh yeah, they were they were negotiating before the legal tampering period. It happens in the final couple of rounds of the draft. Agents are getting calls. Teams are calling, hey, if nobody drafts you, we want you. Some of those, pairings are preordained, several hours before the draft ends. And as soon as the draft ends, it goes very, very quickly. It's a much more, it's not organized, much more sophisticated process than it used to be. And Pace got announced pretty quickly going to the Vikings. And as soon as there was the realization, oh, that means he's going to be Flores's weapon, it was like, oh boy, we're going to see a lot of him.
All right, double mug look. They drop out of it to quarter, half. Oh, and he just threw it at the hook defender? Jalen?
Yeah, like I said, he had a choice. He had two choices on that side, and he threw it to the worst one.
Like, it's 4/3. The hook is just reading your eyes, dude. That's a bad pick.
It is. If he'd gone to Brown, if he'd aired that thing out to 11, at least that's, singled up. And he's going against Byron Murphy. Like, he had position on the inside. If you throw that ball high to the next guy in line further down the field, there's a pretty good chance that AJ goes up and wins that non-50-50 ball, that 80-20 ball.
Oh, my. Another fumble.
Yeah, looks like they got it back. Yeah.
Maybe that's why Jalen's just throwing it up. He's like, fuck it. We'll get it back anyway. Again. Yeah, that's out.
Oh, beautiful.
I think it was Avonte Maddox got a paw
on
it.
Avonte Maddox stuck his hand in there. The weird thing
what an
is,
interesting career Avonte has had.
Yeah. I pulled up Prime on my laptop as opposed to the TV, and now I'm up to speed with you, whereas the TV is still 30 seconds behind. And they're both running off the same Wi-Fi, which is hilarious.
Also, chat mentioned Prime Vision has all 22. I did know that. What I don't know is, does it have a score bug on it so that you guys can follow what play we're on?
Ooh,
I could switch to Prime 12.
I was watching that one if TV, hoping that it was gonna be a different feed and get me up to speed, but I don't remember the score bug question. There is a there is a score bug on it.
Okay. I'll switch to that at the next opportunity that I can.
Oh,
that'll probably be a halftime adjustment that I do.
Hurts is getting popped.
I might have to do a film room on Ivan Pace because this dude's just fucking gnarly.
All right, you gotta cut the pieces you can use out of our defensive gems video that no longer exists.
Like, if you guys watched us in January,
I know
we're all over this.
I keep quoting that video, and everybody's like, "Where is it? Send me the link." And I'm like, "I'd love to." The reality is, there was no way to make that video because 40% of it got claimed by the SEC.
I'll have to have Jay send us the OG version of it. I'm sure they still have it on a hard drive somewhere.
Oh, for sure. No, we have the local copies of it, but we can't send it to anybody unless there's like, it reminds me of like black market tapes out of a, trunk.
Man, they are teeing off on Hurts so far. Like,
He's taken a
Flores
lot of
realized,
shots. Somebody in chat earlier said, Jalen Hurts has taken a lot of shots like 10 minutes ago. Yeah, he hasn't stopped since then. He's taken even more.
I have to assume at this point, just on first glance, that their most common call is fire zone, of just we are sending Pace, we are sending Hicks.
They're doing it for sure.
First down, second down, third down, doesn't matter. Like, they are just in the backfield.
Okay, I was not aware that Pace was wearing 40. I feel somewhat queasy about that as a linebacker number.
Really? I don't hate it. If it was like 42, that's one thing. 40, I think, is...
Oh, come on. 42 is
okay.
The answer to life, the universe, and everything. 42 would be a great number.
Like 43 is like you're a career special teamer. 40 is like you're a human Coke machine that loves eating quarterbacks.
No points.
Yeah, so not a great start for Philly, which means,
well,
so far we are compounding on the theory that middle field close structures and pressure is how you beat this offense.
Well, it's certainly how you get a lot of hits on the quarterback early. If you have the dudes that Flores and Minnesota do, and they're putting that to good use. Hurts is not going to last a full season of that kind of treatment. But then again, not every team they're going to face has the willingness to do that or the roster to do it. Minnesota has both, apparently.
Brett, is Fangio's penny package run in a 3-3-5 personnel? Because I remember seeing a lot of what looked to be 3-3-5 a part of the penny package or unrelated. You can do it in multiple. I've seen them do it in quote-unquote 4-2-5 nickel, where they just put a linebacker as an edge. I've seen them do it in 3-3-5. I don't think I've ever seen them do it from anything else. But again, there's kind of loose definitions for what's an edge and what's a linebacker and what's a defensive end, and I think it depends. But pretty much for me, penny package is 5-man surface, one guy playing a quote unquote linebacker spot, and then 5 DBs in a 2-high structure behind that. That's what I see as a penny package.
Chat's on it tonight. I'm enjoying Chat's work tonight.
We need to break the fumble record. I do wonder what the most fumbles in a single game is, because we're already at like 4. And it's not even rainy. Like, there's no excuse.
Now, JJP came with $4.99. Thanks for that, JJP. 43 career special teamer. You deserve to get popped by Troy Polamalu for saying that.
Hey, Troy Polamalu was a great special teamer who also happened to be a Hall of Fame safety.
Wow, man, Kirk. You're going to burn the heels off your shoes backpedaling that fast.
Polamalu in the fucking C gap. All right, well, we got a classic Kirk tripping over his own offensive line moment here. Sets up 2nd and 15.
Oh, motion from Hawkinson.
Oh, offside?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Free play? Where'd
Throw it up, go? He's down there somewhere, and he's pretty good at playing defensive back, too. Holy cow.
Record for most fumbles is 10 from the Steagles. Yikes. World War II era, when they combined both franchises. I think it was World War II, right? That's when they did that.
Wow.
I gotta ask JB. He's the historian.
Yeah. It's amazing to me when wide receivers turn into defensive backs and they're really good at it.
All right, chat says I'm correct. Yes, that was it was like early 40s when, again, because of World War II and men going off.
Yeah, 42 and 43, I think.
Yeah, the Steagles. Interesting NFL trivia that I just have floating around in my brain for no particular reason.
Some, the guy I've got helping me rebuild the office and studio had said something to me because you know that I've been talking about doing this for some time. And the first time I brought it up to him about 6 months ago, he mentioned a random detail and I repeated that back to him. And he was like, when we restarted, he's like, how did you remember that? I said, look, man, Brandon, if it's useless and has no effect on the overall quality of my life, I can absolutely remember it. If it is, really important, no chance.
Yeah, if I have to sign tax documents tomorrow, won't remember at all. If I need to remember, who led the Big 12 in receiving in 2007, I'm your guy.
Or what school a backup safety played for?
Yeah,
In the middle of life.
like
Got it.
Justin Evans. Yeah.
Like, yeah, the Texas A&M kid. Yep. There you go.
You missed my super chat. Do you think Jefferson's approaching huge extension factored into selecting a wide receiver in the first for cap control of the wide receiver room? Absolutely, because Jefferson's going to make 30 plus million a year because they're using the Tyreek deal as the benchmark, right? So he's going to get 30 plus, which means Jamar is also going to get 30 plus, which complicates the T. Higgins thing. But yeah, I have to imagine that was a big factor in why they took Addison because they need to get a cheap, quote unquote cheap, number 2 for 5, potentially up to 6 years to handle the Jefferson contract. Also, apologies.
100%. He's going to reset the market. Jefferson's one of the few guys in the NFL that can say this is the number and they'll pay it because he is top at his position. I don't know that anybody's arguing that. Some people were arguing that at the beginning of last year. Those arguments have all faded. I don't hear those voices anymore that say, "Oh, I don't think Justin Jefferson's number 1 anymore." I'm like, I think that's a much more difficult argument to make, especially after the season he put up last year.
He's top 3, but he ain't 3.
I think arguing against him as the top receiver in the NFL is a very difficult thing to do.
I struggle with it because I think he and Tyreek are in the same tier, but they do different stuff.
I would agree with that. Now, again, I'm open to any opinion and any argument, but when people are like, "Oh, he's clearly not," I'm like, "Really?"
I don't think there's a clearly
so
when it
ready
comes
to
to
dismiss that. Like, based on what?
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting pairing with the commissioner.
Oh, the Curtis Martin and Mike Vick.
Curtis Martin, Mike Vick.
Yeah. All right, 3rd and 3. Curious to see what call we get here.
Ooh. Oh, Kirk wanted the ball. He was going to go right. Ends up going left. Gets it anyways on the dot.
For a game that's 3-0, this has been more exciting than I expected.
We got a lot of fun stuff. It's just not necessarily fun stuff if you're a fan of either team. Like, fumbles are never great.
As a neutral observer, this is highly entertaining.
Yeah. I'm having a good time with it. Ooh, yeah. Running the ball for Minnesota, not going to be an easy task.
Jalen Carter, Chicago Bears legend.
Oh
man,
stop.
Just look how quickly he cross-faced.
Now, it didn't even look like he tried. And this is the part that kills me is that's a professional offensive lineman that really is opposed to him doing that. Like, does not want him to do that in any way. And it looked like he basically did have absolutely no say in whether it happened or not.
There's that penny package, 5-1, with
Ooh.
Zach Cunningham as the edge spot. All right, sets up a
Good
third
by
and medium.
There's Zach.
Third and 9. Not a ton of good answers for this. I would imagine, depending on if we're getting 2x2 or 3x1, we're going to get either quarters or half quarter here. Yeah, that was half quarter. And they put the half field safety over Jefferson and trusted everybody else to win, and they did not. Also, is it me or did TJ Hawkinson slim down a little bit? He looks svelte.
I think he's certainly leaning into the amount they want to throw him the ball. That was a very clear piece, which was like, hey, we didn't – it's kind of the opposite of Mike Gesicki in his last year in Miami. We did not bring you here to block, at least not straight up one-on-one. We'll use you for chips, but there's a reason you're here, and this is it, right? That's interesting. Little – like Texas route from McConnell using Hawkinson instead of one of the backs.
Dragon Lion, is Kirk still in high school? Oh, I love it.
In so many ways he is.
For people that don't know, that means a dragon concept on one side, lion concept on the other. It's like basically the same play that you'll get from Ask Madden with slant flat.
What I'm amazed at there, and we'll talk about it in a second because we've got to play, but oh boy, first down. Good luck keeping up with him to the outside, but at that end of the play to Hawkinson, safety just basically sits there, drops his helmet, and hits him with the crown of the helmet in his forearm over the ball at full speed with a guy, tackling him over the back too. Like, these are the things you don't really think about when you talk about the toughness of NFL players. Like, if I took a 2x4 and hit your forearm as hard as I could, how would that feel? Well, that's basically what that is. There's no padding there.
All right, if we get a touchdown here, and we did, I want to explain something. Give me a second. Let me undo all this.
All right. Hawkinson punches it in. He had a good week 1. It was interesting in that he had a lot of catches, didn't have a ton of yardage in week 1, but they went to him a lot. They definitely were looking to see what they could get out of him and which routes were working. And week 1, as it often is for a lot of NFL franchises, was a bit of a test bed. And Kirk was super sharp. Like, a lot of people are going to look, they lost to the Bucs, they must not have played well. I'd sort of go against that and say generally they played pretty well, but turnovers in big spots will kill you. That's what we said in our recap pod, and it's not wrong. But in terms of Cousins, like, had 33 completions in week 1, and it would have been higher without a few drops. Could have been as high as like 36. And for week 1 to come out and throw 36 completions, that's a sharp start.
So there was a slide route. This mic moves for me. There was a slide route that they hit for Jefferson to set up where they're like on the 7-yard line, something like that. What I found interesting about it was he was on the line of scrimmage as an X receiver. Typically, if you're on the line of scrimmage, most offensive concepts, I would say, means that you're going to be the deep receiver. You're going to be the guy who's going to be the third level threat. Or you're going to be the one who's working down the field, right? Because you're on the line of scrimmage, they want to just get you moving. And so typically, whether it's a match zone concept or whether it's man match, the DB that's going to be on the guy on the line of scrimmage is going to be in a press or a catch technique. closer to the line of scrimmage himself, right? So they got him on a slide route, which is usually run from somebody who's off the line of scrimmage, right? Coming across the back, so you get the action off play action, you hit the slide route, right? They ran it with Jefferson on the line of scrimmage where he took a step back and looped around, and they did that on purpose because knowing that the corner that's covering him is typically going to be closer to the line of scrimmage to respond to him being on the line of scrimmage. So it's a lot easier for that DB to get caught in the wash and have to go all the way around, right? So really nifty kind of way to run a staple concept in this offense, but do it in a different way to ensure that he's getting clean out the backside. Really nice design.
Yeah, O'Connell's not short on nice designs. And, had another one with that little Texas route to Hawkinson. Again, that's typically a running back route, whether it's out of the backfield or whether you motion them up onto the line. But instead, motioning the tight end in from a wider outset and then running was typically it's not exclusively a running back route, but it is certainly much more often a running back route.
Basically just the way to get somebody free one-on-one. So Vikings are looking good so far.
They're certainly in good. The addition of Flores can't be understated because the offense, again, we saw it last year. A lot of wins out of the Vikings. We talked about how some of those were, we thought of them as less legitimate than others, that they were, almost historically good in one-score games, and that probably wasn't repeatable. But the reason that a lot of those games were one-score games was because the defense couldn't hold up its end versus the offense producing a lot of points. And so they got in a lot of shootouts. And Flores coming in, having a lot of talent and athletes, and adding some more that fit really well, like Ryan Pace. There's your Freudian slip of the night. Ivan Pace Jr. Allows them a level of aggression we haven't seen out of a Vikings defense in a bit. And it's a fun matchup with, an aggressive offense, like you said, a well-designed offense. Kevin O'Connell, obvious skill position strength for the Vikings. And then you add, more pop on defense and becomes a more interesting mix.
So far, really, the only Eagles offensive success was the big ball to Devonta, but running the ball with DeAndre Swift. It's kind of the only way they're making hay right now.
Yeah, and Hurts is taking a lot of hits to do it, which is not something you want to see, especially early in the season. And, I guess if you're a Vikings fan, you want to see it. If you're Brian Flores, you want to see it. But if you're an Eagles fan, certainly a Jalen Hurts fan, you don't want to see him taking the kind of punishment he's taken, throughout the first quarter and into the early second.
Something that I've been seeing consistently, it's very Iowa State, is hold on.
Oh. By the way, good handoff there on the RPO. There was an RPO earlier that Hurts missed. I didn't bring it up at the time, but he should have handed it off, and he kept it. Ended up taking a hit on that last gain. It was a good choice to hand the ball off, and they get a nice gain out of it. Second short.
So something that I've been seeing is basically like a 3-high presentation in the middle of the field pre-snap, and you're not entirely sure what coverage they're going to be in, right? Because they can expand these two guys out, have this safety step down, and basically be the same thing as like the pole runner in Tampa 2. They can drop him back and have both of them come from top of the table to be the hook zone defenders in cover 3. They can do all sorts of fun rotations into quarters, quarter, half, and half, quarter. But you're seeing it particularly on passing downs, like 10 to 12 yards off the line of scrimmage. You got 3 guys lingering out there, muddying whether it's a middle field close versus middle field open read, and it's really giving Hurts a lot of problems.
Yeah, are you noticing that Flores is almost presenting kind of what you were saying, but even just on the last play, the amoeba defense?
A bunch of dudes walking around. We're not going to show you anything.
It's guys moving on what we consider both the first and second levels continuously up to the snap. like guys replacing linebackers coming down to what typically would be DE spots, DEs popping back to linebacker spots, guys floating to the outside in the slot and then popping back in tight to the formation, just sort of continually moving until the snap. And I'm with you. That's a more college type concept. You don't see it in the NFL that often. It's
It
working
works
for them.
though. Now,
Yeah.
it doesn't work against the run, so I'd have to go back to the All-22 to see if that presentation is a factor in why DeAndre Swift is running all over him. But it kind of feels like so far they're saying, we'll give you the run, you just can't throw.
Yeah, it does feel like they're very much saying like AJ Brown and Devonta Smith aren't necessarily going to beat us. We'll give you this stuff. We might even give you some of the routes that we just ran to Hawkinson. If you want to run that with Goddard, we'll give that to you. We'll give you the Hurts runs all day long because we get to put shots on him. We'll give you the 3-4 yard runs inside with DeAndre Swift. No problem. We're not giving up 20, 30, 40-yard shots to Smith.
Except for the one time they did.
Well,
but other than that,
again, first quarter and Sirianni and his coaching staff, very good. We talked about how quickly they adapted to the NFL game and how quickly they've adapted to changes in their roster mid-season, adjusting their form, and that's really powered them to success. This is not a complacent coaching staff, very flexible, and I would imagine he saw that and he's just tucking it behind his ear. He's keeping that one for the second half when he needs it. He's going to run a lot of other stuff for now, but he's seen those in at least one or two that they didn't hit. There was the one on the interception, right? If he'd thrown that ball to AJ, he's probably still running.
I think they've run 6, maybe 7 times in a row now. I think they're leaning into we'll just take what they're going to give us, and that's the run game right now.
Yep.
So
it's fascinating because
we'll see if Philly can just score on 11, 12 play drives the entire night, because I think that might be what it takes.
Yeah, and based on the NFL trend from week one, again, week one is always a little bit weird, but there was a dearth of deep balls, right? A dearth of deep passing, like the lowest level of deep passing in a long time in week one, because defenses are looking to make offenses more patient, sort of the opposite of what Josh Allen was in the game against the Jets, right? Like, we are going to make you do this. We are going to make you grind out 3 and 4 yard runs and hook them together. We're going to make you do 11, 12, even 15 play drives. We're not going to allow you, just what we were talking about, the big explosives that are going to be 7 or 8 play drives and a score. And we're going to bank on the fact that gives us more chances as a defense to make you as an offense make mistakes. And if Hurts and the Eagles are patient enough to do it, and right now they look like they are literally just grinding it out.
And see, first pass play,
probably win this game.
Schedule. Now it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, it's going to be the hard way, right? They're going to make them go the long way around.
And again, they'll let them run it 12 times if you only get 3. Like, they're trying to trade 7s for 3s. That's the whole game plan here. Time of possession, 18 minutes already. Good Lord.
Yeah, well, it's only that disparity is only going to get bigger if they keep this strategy up, because they are grinding away.
It's one of those, it's kind of working for both sides, and we'll just see who comes out on top by the fourth quarter. Like, both sides are doing what they want to do.
Feels like it's going to be interesting down the stretch. I'm with you there, because Brian Johnson, as the offensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator of the Eagles, seems to be taking this in stride, which is, all right, hey, I tried some things I wanted to do. You smacked me. You smacked my quarterback more than I wanted, certainly. So I'm gonna start taking some heat off him by handing it off. And Chat was on that probably even earlier than the Eagles were, saying, why are they running so much with Hurts? Why are they not running the ball? Because he's taking a lot of hits. And that was midway through the first quarter. Somebody said that in chat, and Brian Johnson apparently listened. He was like, all right, let's put the ball in DeAndre Swift's hands. We paid a pick for him. Like, let's take those hits off Jalen, because that's not sustainable.
Nice cut from Swift. All right, low red zone. It's we're getting towards bending and breaking here, not bend, not break.
Yeah, I'm going to be fascinated by the call. Again, Brian Johnson with a low red zone opportunity. Is he going to try and leverage, you know, AJ Brown, or is he gonna stay with this and try and spread him out and then, pierce the middle of the defense with a run? He's got some options, but Vikings are packing it in. Philly comes in a condensed formation, and now it's just man up.
At this point, you're in QB sneak territory, so I'm just chalking this one up as a touchdown drive already.
Yeah, I mean, for the team that basically coined the push play last year.
Yeah. Oh,
seems
it's
like
coming.
you're
You can
close
see it's
enough.
coming.
Yep. And you're setting up for it.
And he's in. They're like,
Yeah.
we know, you know, and we don't
Yep.
care.
We have now reduced all the complexities of this game to rugby.
Oh, there's a timeout. Flores, or either Flores or Kevin O'Connell called timeout right before the snap. Oh.
Icing the tush push, not even icing the kicker.
Basically. Man.
Guess what they're going to do again?
Yeah. Why would you do anything else?
You got Goddard, Zacchaeus, Brown. Oh, man. You got a lot of guys in there that are good sized, plus the Eagles' offensive line, which is no joke.
Yeah. This whole give them the run until they stop the pass can definitely work, but only if you don't give up touchdowns.
It's going to burn up a lot of time, too. Oh,
well,
no,
also the Vikings defense is going to be exhausted.
Oh, they're going to pound on them some, and I think the Eagles are excited about that. And Hurts, one of the, I would say, top 5 guys in the league that you want running that play.
Oh yeah,
super powerful lower body. His Jalen Hurts' lower body strength is wildly underrated as an asset. People say he's a good runner. Like, that guy in the weight room is a complete animal.
Mark Kreutzer for $10. Thank you, Mark. Asked in Super Chat ages ago how to get my significant other into football. Brett recommended it. Just be my thing and not hers. Turns out all it took was her looking at Joe Burrow. So I speak as a man with extensive experience in this department. My wife does not care about football whatsoever. She'll send me TikToks that she sees that are funny on ESPN's TikTok, but she doesn't care about football. That being said, her and all of her friends, they were very interested to watch Jets games this year because they affectionately refer to Aaron Rodgers as Daddy Rodgers. So, hyper attractive starting quarterbacks.
They're all Chicago Bears fans?
Huh?
So they're all Chicago Bears fans?
No, that's landlord Rodgers, not Daddy Rodgers.
That's owner. That's tycoon Rodgers at that point.
No, and I asked her about Jimmy G, and she said, no, too pretty. No, Rodgers is just the correct level of attractive, but not like GQ model attractive.
You're just skating under the radar because you know she's not listening to this.
She might be. I don't know. She might be in the next room.
She's not.
Oh, man. Slumlord Rodgers.
Slumlord Rodgers. Well, it's Rehab Rodgers at this point, which is, look, a lot of people have asked me about how I feel about the Rodgers injury, and honestly, I feel a little bit robbed. He's out of the division. I was really looking forward to see what he could do with the Jets. You kind of don't have to worry about the bad man anymore, so all the emotions taken out of it. I feel really terrible for all the Jets fans. I feel really terrible for Aaron Rodgers, and people are going to say, wait, what? You're a Bears fan. How is that possible? Look, he's eaten the Bears lunch for the last 13 years. I get it. But I've also had my Achilles worked on. I didn't rupture mine. It was just part of another surgery, which was really extensive. And everybody figured all that stuff hurt way more. The 3 little pokes they put in my Achilles was the most painful part of the entire thing. Like the soft tissue stuff was wildly painful. So I can't imagine rupturing and having it rebuilt and going through that rehab at a not young age. Like I have, nothing but empathy for Aaron Rodgers right now, because that is a tough road to hoe. And Kevin Clark, who's now with Omaha, had Dan Marino on, and Dan Marino talking about his, Achilles recovery late in his career and how difficult it was. If you've ever injured that part of your body, you got nothing but ooh when that happens for somebody else.
Can we also talk about the fact that he stood up, took a few steps, looked like absolutely nothing was wrong, and then sat down and just, if I tore my Achilles like that, I'd be screaming. I'd be holding my leg on, and Rodgers was just like, well, that sucks. It was like watching a Daria
I know
cartoon.
what that was. Yeah. No, a lot of these guys, you see them, many of them are in tears when they realize how much work they put in, and the fact that they're going to be, not on the field for a while, whether it's a knee injury or any other kind. But other guys just literally sit on the cart and are like, yep. And you're like, wow, man, that's a different level.
All right, another big gain. These slide routes are doing a lot of damage off play action. Kirk in no huddle, giving his
Kirk's going quick.
Kirk signals.
That was Josh Oliver. They used him well last week too.
They do have 2 timeouts still, so they can run the ball and get away with it like that.
Yeah, but the run is, again, I can't remember whether we said that to ourselves or to the audience pregame, but the run's going to be tough sledding against Philadelphia. This is a very capable defensive line. There's not going to be any easy running yards.
All right, we got commercial break. Mad Tom for $5. Missed my super chat about you drawing the turtle early. Oh, I'll draw the turtle for sure. Also, do you think the Vikes on that last TD drive was more about bad plan or bad execution? Yes, sort of, to both.
Well, I mean, I'm with you. I think that both teams are getting what they wanted. They got what they wanted, which was to take more time off the clock and make the Eagles run more plays. And, did that benefit the Vikings in the end? No, they still got the 7, but they made the Eagles take their time. And right now, I think that's what they want the ability to be able to do. The Eagles are a really powerful offense, and if you let them score in 5 plays, you're not going to keep up in a boat race with them. So, I hesitate to say that it was bad execution. They kind of got what they wanted, and they would have rather given up 3 than 7, but it was kind of 7 the hard way.
All right, turtle is on the whiteboard. Also, apologies for any super chats that we missed in the first half. With these particular streams, it's tough to get to all of them because we're trying to break down the game and give value as an alternative broadcast, in addition to answering questions and responding to chat in real time. So I do genuinely apologize if we missed a super chat. As always, my general policy is if we missed it, feel free to send me a DM on Twitter. My DMs are open for this exact reason, and I will be happy to answer anything that we missed through DM, because I don't want you guys to feel like you wasted your hard-earned money. So again, if we missed it, apologies. We're trying to balance doing a broadcast in addition to drawing turtles. But again, DMs are open. Ask me whatever you want over there.
Yeah, and I'm missing it because now despite all these wonderful upgrades and multiple screens, I'm now watching both the stream and the YouTube stream on my laptop screen, which is the smallest screen in the entire room, but it's also the fastest in terms of keeping up with actually being able to see the play and not being 30 seconds behind, which is far worse.
Trying to see if I can pull up Prime Vision during halftime.
Yeah, I could pull it up on the TV, but it was still 30 seconds behind. I love Prime Vision, by the way. We got a lot of comments about that last year about how much people enjoyed that view and the extra, information it provides. Completely agree. Really, really great view. If I could get it so it wasn't 30 seconds behind the Twitch stream and I didn't just have to listen to Brett tell me what every play was, I would use it. But instead, I've got pretty much the TV view on my laptop screen, and I'm up to speed, which I'll take.
How do I get to Prime Vision? So I'm on the main one.
On the TV, they give you 3 different options. They give you the main broadcast, they give you the Spanish language one, and then Prime Vision is also there.
I'll figure that out at halftime.
Yeah, I might figure out how to put this feed on my desktop screen because that's at least bigger, and then I could have YouTube and all the super chats on my laptop screen. Ooh,
all right,
Kirk.
Nice conversion on 3rd and 1.
Man.
Minutes ago, 2 timeouts. You got all the time in the world. Although, unless they get a chunk here, at that point, you're probably positioning for field goal more than touchdown, just because you're 50 seconds and you got to save a timeout for a kick. So it's technically really 1 timeout to work with in terms of moving the ball.
Yeah, because you got to save the other one to get the kicking team on the field.
Yeah, unless you think you can do a 13-second fire drill, but I wouldn't want to risk that.
Yeah, not if you want the points, and they could use them here because going in on the road with a tie at halftime, you got to call that a little bit of a victory for the Vikes.
All right, another timeout here.
If we're talking about small victories for the first half, I got to say, Sean Desai, first half, Eagles defense holding a very powerful and what looked to be sort of well-oiled offense to 7 or possibly 10 in the first half. It's a good job.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I did find a Twitch with Prime Vision. Hey-o.
Hey-o. See, I've got Prime Vision on the big screen, and it's almost my replay at this point. It's the live version, but it's 30 seconds behind. So I see what happens on the laptop, look up to Prime Vision, and catch it again, which I suppose has its uses. But I would like to see the super chats in real time. That would be better.
Yeah,
Alex
that's
Larson,
I got to figure out with in chat if any of you guys have OBS experience. Is there a way from OBS for me to display super chats on screen? I've been trying to figure that out because on StreamYard you can do it, but on StreamYard we can't show the score bug, which I feel is the more important part, so people know exactly where we're at.
Yeah, for sure. Alex Larson for $10 through a super chat. Appreciate it. Can you break down the read counter that the Eagles are running? Hurts breaking to the same side as the read back only makes sense if there's a pitch man off in an orbit motion. I would agree. I feel like that's the one he missed earlier on that I brought up that he took the hit on. He doesn't have an option if he goes out. It felt like in that sort of 1-2 read, putting one defender in conflict, he read it incorrectly. He should have handed that first one off. The second one he did hand off, again, takes extra hits off him, and they ended up gaining 7 or 8 up the middle. But I don't disagree, Alex.
If you can give me a time code for when that happened, I'm trying to remember that exact play. Because sometimes I've seen instead of you think of like bash counter, right? I have seen some schools at the collegiate level, when you have the pullers going away from the back, and typically the quarterback is supposed to then follow those pullers. I have seen, I'm trying to remember, was it Delaware? It was one of those smaller New England schools where they had it where it was almost like a misdirection off of bash counter where the quarterback rode with the flow and then was just 3 steps behind the running back, which they essentially turned into a fullback to spring it to the other edge. So I would have to look at the all-22, but I need the exact time code so I can look at it, because it's possible that was by design that just didn't work, but I got to look at it.
Kirk just took a chunk up the sideline.
Yeah, somebody let that one go when they shouldn't have.
31 had responsibility outside because the corner came inside in man, so 31's got to be going over the top, and he hung in the middle of the field. So either the guy that went on man could have passed it off, or 31 was late, but not both.
This is dope.
The Prime Vision stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great. I just wish it was on time.
Because I didn't get to watch Prime Vision last year.
I could never make it work again on time. It was closer than it is now, unfortunately. But if you got a 17-second lag, like it serves as a really nice kind of replay on the big screen for me. But I'm getting the Prime play, no pun intended, off my laptop screen.
This is please don't tell me you fumbled it through the end zone.
Fumbled out of bounds at the 1.
Yeah, this is a much preferable camera angle.
Oh, 100%. Plus, I've got all the highlighting and the stats. Like, it's just so much better, but it's got to be up to speed, or everybody else is going to be reacting in chat, and we're going to be calling it like it's live.
Oh, they might look at that. That ball
you
was
think
out
it got fumbled out of the end zone?
It may be. That might be a touchback.
That looks like a touchback if they're counting the pylon, which they are.
That's a touchback. Oh my god.
Yeah, eye in the sky look. Oh, definitely crosses the plane. 100%.
So what is it? 5 fumbles in the first half? Are we on pace for the record?
We're on pace.
Oh my god. Also, that is the worst rule in football. I want to establish that.
I don't disagree at all, but I'm really thinking about the Vikings in general now. We're into week 2 for them, and 3 fumbles, 3 takeaways. Let's just say 3 takeaways in their first game doomed them versus an opponent they, quite frankly, should have beat straight up, but they couldn't manage ball security, so they ended up losing. And here on the road, taking on, a very powerful team in the NFC that was the Super Bowl representative last year, and you're basically giving them everything they can handle in the first half, but you're just chucking fumbles left and right after a week 1 in which it cost you the game. You'd think that in the meeting rooms in Minnesota, it would be like, all right, we're going back to basics. Like, you're carrying a ball around the facility, and anybody can hit it with a broomstick they want. And if you let it go, you're running laps. Like, get that squared away. And instead, they're chucking just as many in the first half.
Yeah, fumbles killed them against Tampa last week. They probably win that game without the 2 Kirk fumbles. So ball security
100%.
Been a huge issue for Minnesota early. And if they go down 0-2 because of that,
that's what I'm saying is once is learn from it and change it. Twice in a row is like, is this going to be a thing all year where you can't hang on to the ball? You move it at will, but, can't be trusted to hold on to it?
Alex Larson, by the way, if you're still here, if you need to, shoot me a DM on Twitter with the time code of that play, because I couldn't recall the read you were talking about, and then I can follow up with all 22 later with you.
JJP, 100 gallons of Stickum is being shipped to Minnesota.
Or what was it from the replacements? Was it elephant sweat that they put onto his gloves?
Oh, that is a prime replacements reference. I appreciate it.
One of the greatest sports movies ever. All right, here's the call.
Did you did you notice that throughout the next almost 15 years the football uniforms from the replacements were used in like 10 other football movies and shows?
Those are expensive. You got to get like
I
300 of them.
know, and they were definitely hanging out in somebody's central casting. And anytime they said, "No, we need an entire team's worth of uniforms," man, those red home unis came rolling out.
All right.
Zolt, hey EJ, can I get a
Touchback
quick
confirmed.
rundown on Darnell Wright's debut? I forgot he existed since pre-draft. Um, he had his moments, both rookie and decent, but he had a lot of rookie moments. He definitely got handed his, and the film room for Darnell Wright this week is not going to be super fun. He's going to catch some coaching points. He showed a lot of the athleticism, but there was offensive line play is a cohesion of 5 players, and everybody was messing up at some point or another, especially the interior players. Whitehair, Patrick, Nate Davis ended up running Whitehair off a block at one point. Nate Davis had a lot of good plays in his own right, but when that many guys are screwing up that often, it's very difficult to say like, oh, how would he have done if it was just what he needed to do? He had his fair share of mistakes. He also showed some of the decisive power that made him a first-round draft pick. I think that the arrow is still pointing up, but it was just such a complete dumpster fire that it's tough to say like, oh, he did great or oh, he did terrible. Does he have a lot of things to work on? He does. Did he show a lot of the attributes that made him a first-round pick of the Bears? He did. So, I would say watch and see if he cleans those things up and makes less of those mistakes again in week 2 and go from there.
Another big run for the Eagles. They do have 2 timeouts.
Yeah, that's maybe farther than you want to let them go as the Vikings, running or not.
How many run yards or rushing yards in the first half do the Eagles have? And is it over 125? I think it might be,
Oh, good question. Hang
or at
on.
least close to it.
Team stats, rushing yards, 103, and that might be lagging behind a little bit. Probably doesn't include that last run, so you might be close.
Guys, is Jared Goff a franchise quarterback for the Lions? And if not, can he be? It depends on how you define franchise quarterback. A lot of people define franchise quarterback meaning top 8 quarterback, one of like the top 2 tiers of elite guys where it's like you can win a Super Bowl any given year regardless of who else is on the roster because you have that guy. I don't define franchise quarterback that way. So I would say it depends on your definition. You can win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. The Rams went to a Super Bowl with Jared Goff because they had the roster. Ooh, Jalen.
Jalen.
So to me, yes, Jared Goff is a franchise quarterback that you can go a long way with, and he's not going to mess it up. Is he ever going to be a top 8 quarterback? No. So it just depends on semantics, basically.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, bottom line, beat Mahomes and the Chiefs on the road in week 1. Like, it's pretty darn good, and did not play a perfect game. Like, neither did the receivers. There were a bunch of drops. He didn't get all the support, and they still won against, the Super Bowl champion on the road in week 1. Does that make him, I'm with you, a quarterback that you win because of all the time? No, but the way that Detroit has chosen to build its roster, they are winning with him, quite well at a good clip last year. They're off to a good start this year. Call that what you will. Is he a functional quarterback that can win you a lot of games? Yeah, he sure is. In Ben Johnson's offense, he absolutely is.
All right, 7 seconds. You still have a timeout. You can do a quick hitter over the middle to try to get some yak if you go down in time to call a timeout.
Yeah, you can't get
Possibly.
held up by the Vikings defenders, and they're leaving it for him. Look at that. Look at the
Oh, are
hole
they
in the
going to
middle.
better execute what the Cowboys tried to do with Dak? Looks like it.
Yeah,
And they did it. All right,
got
infinitely
it
more
down. And
makeable field goal from there.
yeah, I mean, the Vikings gave it to him. The Vikings basically said, run it here. It's like hit it here, right? The signs you see in
Yeah.
baseball. Run it here. We'll give you that, and then we'll touch your guy down and see if your guy can make the field goal. Um, yeah, that was a defensive alignment that was inviting a very particular offensive play.
Let's see. What's the yardage on this one? 40. Oh
Uh,
no, 61.
no, it's 61. No, this is a belt. He's gonna have to get. It's gonna have to go low, so the block probability goes up as well. But he's gonna have to rip it. 61 yards
I,
is.
I thought Jalen got 10 more yards than he did apparently.
Yeah.
This is a tough kick.
Yeah, in no way is this a gimme, and I think you saw some of that when the Eagles got up in their body language about, man, we would have liked 5 more there, like, mid
Yeah,
50s
he
is
still
a
had
whole
3 seconds.
yeah, mid 50s is a whole different deal. 61 is you got to be very close to perfect.
All right. He's going to have the mother of all boots here. It is up. It is.
He drilled it.
Wow, he had room to spare.
Jake
I don't
Elliott
think
with an
people realize
absolute
how
strike.
hard that
Nice
is.
work. Nice work. Is
That's
there a C on his jersey?
yes, there is.
The kicker is a captain?
Well, he's at this point maybe one of the longest tenured Ingles.
Well, I get it, but how often is a kicker or a punter a captain?
Not very.
Not very. That's the first time I remember seeing that in a bit. Yeah, hell of a rip by Elliott. That's a great kick. Little bit of wiggle in the beginning and right down the middle. That, Vikings even had a guy back to try and return it if it was short. And that thing was like 2 yards off the center post. That's a good drill. Impressive.
That's a hell of a kick,
And who
man.
gets the second half kickoff?
Vikings, I think.
Oh, he had a little. He didn't have a lot of extra. that made him by about 3 feet.
Yeah, I see Nicole Lynn on my TV right now.
Yep,
The
Nicole Lynn.
queen of the sports agency world, unquestionably.
Oh, she's 100% crushing it. Yeah, we met her in 2020 at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, she was Jalen's agent back then. I think she had only
Yeah,
been Jalen's
and
agent for like 3 weeks at that point.
yeah, and she has done nothing but an absolute sort of rocket ascent since then. So, all credit to Nicole Lynn and her clients. She's had multiple guys in the first round, and then in addition, folks that she's had in the league signing position leading contracts. I think twice this offseason.
Yeah, no, she is she is worth her weight in gold. Like if I had a life-changing deal to be negotiated, she's who I'd call.
Yeah. Her
Ruthless,
or
but in a good way.
Dion's business agent.
Yeah. Somebody in chat said the Vikings have had 4 60-plus yard field goals kicked against them in the last couple of years.
Only a Vikings fan would know it.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Vikram
Vikram.
Bansal for $5. Thank you,
Yeah.
Vikram. If the Pats beat Miami on Sunday night, what do you put their division title chances at? Jets are out of the picture and the Bills look rough. If the Pats beat Miami, because of how good they looked against the Eagles, I would probably put it at like 35% Miami, 30% New England, 30% Bills,
That's a number I was going
5%
to pick.
Jets.
Yeah. If the Jets win the title, it would be one of the most amazing stories in sports. The Bills looked rough, but we've seen the Bills look rough at different points in the season. This is the reverse. This is the bizarro of the season that we saw them open against the Rams at SoFi, where they looked completely dialed, and then they had this big lull where Josh got hurt, and then coming back from that, the balance looked a little bit better, but it lagged before that. And then towards the end of the year, it started to go back to more Josh Hero ball. This seems like the inverse of that. Like week 1 was pure Josh Hero ball. Like he couldn't get off it. He couldn't quit it. And they are going to have to rebound. We've seen them do it. It just seems like it's the opposite of the season starting, super well dialed, and instead starting with pretty much the worst possible result. And they are going to have to come back from it, but we've seen that ability from Sean McDermott and his staff before. So will they? We'll see. Can they? We certainly know they can.
Jake for $2. How do we feel about Colorado State's coach's comments? EJ, I don't know if you saw this, where he said that Deion was being disrespectful by not removing his shades or whatever, talking to the media. I say this as somebody.
You want my thoughts on it?
Well, I want to lead off by saying that I worked with Deion. I spent every Sunday on stage with him as a 20-year-old college kid, for multiple years, every Sunday night, right? I was out there with Deion. And the word disrespectful should not ever be uttered when it comes to Deion Sanders. Very few people have been kinder, more gracious to crew and people that he has no reason to be nice to. Again, I was a 20-year-old college kid who was an intern at NFL Media at the time running shot sheets. He had no motivation to give a shit about me at all. And he could not have been more kind and respectful every single show. So to call Deion disrespectful is fucking wrong. It just is. He's an extraordinarily respectful human being. Now, does he have style? Does he have swagger? Does he have a certain way of doing things? Yeah, but I would not say that's disrespectful. That's just having a personality. So I guess that's my long-winded way of saying that Colorado is going to fucking boat race them this week. Because Deion,
you knew
those
that
kids
was
would
coming
do anything for him.
I would say the Colorado State coach got exactly what he wanted, because I didn't know his name at the beginning of the day, and I know it now, and that's what he wanted, and he got that. And yeah, his team is going to get curb stomped this weekend by a bunch. To the Deion thing, again, I don't know Deion personally as you did at one point in your life. I would say it very much depends on when you knew Deion. If you knew him in college or as a young player in the NFL, I know multiple people that have said they had experiences that they consider disrespectful. In his later life, it much more aligns with what you've said, which is he's incredibly respectful, and that's not an apt description of the mature Deion that exists now and has existed, quite frankly, for a long time. But the Colorado State coach was looking for a little smoke. He got it. He got his name out there, and he's going to get smoked on Saturday. Yeah. Like
Shador is going to throw for 1 billion yards on them.
No, they're going to bury them. And that's what he wanted, and he got it. And life goes on.
Alex Tracy for $2. What is the best hard liquor to have with pizza?
Depends on the pizza. Are we talking about cheap pizza or are we talking about good pizza?
Also, what's the mood? Is this like a
is this sadness because you can't afford anything else as a broke just out of college student, or is this hey, I feel like pizza tonight and I have a decent job and I can afford both good pizza and good liquor? So
if you're like a Bears fan watching the Packers blow you out again with Jordan Love, Malort. If you're a Packers fan celebrating, I would say you make one of their weird ass Wisconsin old fashions where they throw half a fucking fruit basket into the glass, and you drink it with a celebratory boot.
Did you see the Milwaukee bar?
Oh, the one with the had to pay out all the Jets stuff.
Yeah, the one that offered that, for those of you that didn't see this, a bar in Milwaukee said if the Packers aren't playing and the Jets are on and the Jets lose, you drink for free if you open your tab 15 minutes before kickoff. So it's like a bet promotion, and like a bunch of people showed up for week one. Obviously, it wasn't conflicting with the Packers. Opened their tabs 15 minutes before kickoffs, and Rodgers went down incredibly quickly in the game after 4 plays, and they started ringing it up in true Wisconsin style. Wisconsin, largest amount of liquor consumption in the nation per capita. So they were going to town, and then the Jets end up returning the kickoff in overtime to win the game, and the mood in that place turned when all those people realized, oh no, we have to pay for this. All right. What else we got in chat? Honestly, vodka. We do many things, but we don't mess around with our liquor. Alex Williams? Yeah, no, you do not. Never, ever, when you are in Wisconsin, go, yeah, I'll keep up. Like, it's a terrible idea.
No, bad idea.
Not a good choice to be like, yeah, I can hang. No, unless you happen to be from, like, Scotland, you probably can't.
So I had to refill my coffee.
That's okay. I'm actually thinking about having a halftime coffee, so that sounds really good.
Yeah, because I have a sneaking suspicion that I might need to do some Ivan Pace tape study tonight for a future episode.
Depending on I've got a bunch if you need it.
Yeah.
He was one of my all-time favorites. He was. I know a lot of people, well, not a lot of people. That's the thing is pre-draft, when I made that choice, when I made him a defensive gem this year, a lot of people were like, oh, yeah, he definitely would have been my first choice, but I totally get it. And then he went undrafted, which was a huge surprise. Like, he was easily talented enough to be drafted. I would say 3rd round or lower. Went completely undrafted, and then again has what I would say good fortune of landing in Minnesota with a new defensive coach who fully understands his gifts and is like, oh yeah, I'm going to make you do a lot of that.
Somebody said pepperoni and scotch is a great combo.
Oh,
theoretically, if you wanted to, you could just put a bunch of pepperoni into a pan, cook off the fat, right? Take out the pepperonis, eat the pepperonis, take all the fat from the pepperonis, and then fat wash your scotch with it to get a little bit of pepperoni undertones to like a Macallan 12. If you want like the most cursed bottle of scotch you've ever seen, you could do that.
Oh man, I don't know, man. That description alone is making me queasy.
It's probably not like great, but you could do it.
I would say probably not great is an apt description. Oh man, that's more like a dare where you just sort of invite somebody over and you're like, I did a thing, and they're like, what? And you're like, here, have some, and they're like, what is it? And you're like, I'll tell you after you drink it.
Like what's the drink you can order from a bar where they just take the rag that they washed the bar with all night and then they just
it's called an LA Freeway, and it's the bar mats. It's the bar mats that they slap the drinks down on all night and everything splashes into them. So you basically take the bar mat and pour it into the glass. It's called an LA Freeway at the end of the night. I've had one, but then again, I've had a shot out of a bowling ball, so
I was
whatever.
gonna say it's probably not as bad as the bowling ball shot in Buffalo.
The the bowling ball shot overall, in terms of atmosphere, was a huge plus. But it was a local like berry liqueur, so it was super sweet, which is not really my thing. Um, it wasn't terrible. There was a thing where I threw it down at the end, and they said if that was the case and that meant you wanted another one or something, there's some random weird local custom in Buffalo that I had violated, and I was like, yeah, nah, I'm I'm not taking a makeup off two for that. I did the first one, and didn't spill. It was fine, but
Yeah, no, you
uh,
made it.
did I want another one? No.
All right, about to get kickoff for the second half here.
Oh, I like hurricane shots from Jared.
Is that just like a mini hurricane in a shot glass?
Yeah, it is. It's basically like a. Imagine if you took a Long Island iced tea and boiled it down.
Let's just take out all the dilution. It's
Right.
just
Yeah. We don't
alcohol.
want anything like ice or, flavor. We're just going to take the pure alcohol and, mix 5 different kinds in a very small glass.
All right.
All of that
Start of
stuff
the
sounds
second half.
reasonably horrendous, I have to say.
Ooh, JJ says for $5, I want to marinate a pork loin in some beer and smoke it all day Saturday. What type of beer should I use? I'm leaning towards an amber ale.
Ambers are good because they add some sugar and they can absolutely add some caramelization to pork, which is great. My other choice would be I don't know where you are, but if you can get some of Casey Beer Co.'s Dunkelweizen, like dark German beers are a great choice
Yeah.
for pork as well. Like Germans do pork and pork schnitzel like extremely well. That's a tremendous pairing. I've done that before. A lot of good choices. Kind of tougher to go wrong there than it is to do pretty well.
Oh, another fumble. We got six. Six fumbles on the day. Let's go.
Why do we not going to slip on fumbles, Brett? I feel like we'd be better off. Oh, Philly brings it. Yeah, Philly bringing big pressure. All right, I'm going to step away, take a quick break, get a fresh beverage, and I'll be back.
All right. I'll take the call for the sudden change scenario here. I'm trying to get confirmation on the exact number of fumbles we've had. I think
it feels like 6 at this point. That's my guess.
I don't know if ESPN just hasn't updated yet. It's either 5 or 6. And all right, we are down at the inch line here. Probably ripe for another quarterback sneak. Ooh, that might have been in. No, just short, barely. And Hurts is in again. That kind of game, folks. That kind of game. Let me look at the play-by-play just to get the exact number of fumbles. So we had 1, 2, 3. Well, with 3 drives end on fumble, and I think we had 2 more that got recovered. The Vikings alone have 4 fumbles lost already. I mean, that's a special level of terrible ball security. Are y'all not allowed to say what players are fumbling? I mean, Kirk just fumbled that one. He got his sack fumbled. So that is what, 3 sack fumbles in the first 2 weeks for him? All of them lost. Six fumbles, 5 of which were lost in the Hurts pick. Gotcha. Well, the encouraging thing, if we're trying to find silver linings for Vikings fans, is they would be a good team without the turnovers. They lost to Tampa solely because of the 2 fumbles and then a really dumb pick that Kirk threw in the red zone. And they would probably be significantly in the lead today if they would stop fumbling. So even if they go 0-2, as hard of a hole as that is to climb out of, if they can just improve ball security for the rest of the season, they should be fine. They're probably out of first seed contention going down 0-2, but they could still make the playoffs. But I will say it kind of feels like a lot of the good bounces that they got last year to win 13 games despite every single number pointing to a team that should have won less than that, all those good bounces they got last year seem to be going the other way so far this year. So, maybe the dreaded regression to the mean on favor of the football gods is hitting here. Stay weird, TNF, don't ever change. I don't think we've ever had a normal Thursday game, to be honest. Storm for $2. Over on Hurts rushing touchdowns at 0.5 is wild. At this point, I would just smash that every week. Because anytime they get inside the 3-yard line, it's going to be Jalen Hurts. Like, he is their goal line back. How predictive is fumble rate? Can we expect to regress to the mean? There's that word. Please. I don't know, honestly. I think I might reach out to some of my analytics friends that would have a better answer to that. Because I'm not sure what is predictive about fumble rate, or if there even is a predictive element. All right. Vikings ball again. Let's see how they fuck it up this time. That was a weird route distribution. If you guys were watching on the All-22 feed, it looked like we had a go route and then either a seam that got way rerouted out to the sideline or a rail that was just following way too close on the go. You had 2 receivers within like 4 yards of each other. That was a weird distribution. I think they made a mistake. And now you're in a deep hole. It's going to be 3rd and 16. He's back.
He is back, and he made pirate coffee.
Ooh. All right, 3rd and 15.
Okay, I'm feeling better. That I thought my stream on my laptop fell behind at this point. I was like, what do I have to do? But I'm up where you are. So
you're super lagging on my end. Let me get you back in here. There we go. We got you.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, but now I'm black and white. All right, let me fix my
Appropriate
settings.
on some days, but not today.
There we go. OBS does this weird thing where when you add in the second camera, it just takes out all of my saturation. No idea why.
It's because you started shooting in that new mode, and it's like you don't want all the color, right?
Well, you missed another Hurts rushing touchdown. And then you missed the Vikings falling behind the chains early, not being able to dig out of a hole. If the Eagles score here, might be blouses.
I was gonna say we might start having our first alternate stream chats of the season.
Well, and we do have a scale for this. I introduced it when I was doing my Sunday stream.
Oh yeah, I
In terms
was
of
on board for that.
right now we're at a sear, but 7 more points. That's a 20-point lead. That's full on flambe status.
Yeah, you're
far
getting
more than getting cooked.
You're getting worked at that point. Which I mean, I think honestly, a lot of people looking at this game, certainly preseason or off season, would have said, I think the Eagles win that game fairly handily, but you know, after the respective week ones that these teams had, it felt like it could be a game for longer, and it has been, like up until that last rushing touchdown. Certainly in hand, it was a competitive contest and still could be. Like, the Vikings aren't out of this thing. They got plenty of time, the entire second half almost. But you gotta turn the tide here a little bit.
All right, quarters presentation here. Oh, Hurts wants it all, and he's got it. He took a huge hit when he let that go. But there was no post help in the middle of the field. He knew he could just leave as much air as he possibly needed to. Great ball.
Boy, he drilled it.
So they brought 5. No post help at all. And that's the thing is, well, I might as well just draw this up, but
yeah, that's your blitz beater. You got to hit it. You got to take the shot and hit it, and he did both. And by take the shot, I mean take the shot from the defender. Absolutely wide ass open on a Caleb Evans, though. Either Caleb Evans thought he had help, or he just completely misplayed that. I mean, kind of either way, he completely misplayed that, but he looked like he thought he had over-the-top help on that because Devonta Smith ran by him and he was kind of flat-footed. And by the time he turned and ran, like, forget about it. It was 3 yards with leverage. Ooh. Hurts took a nasty shot on the arm. I didn't realize. It looked like he took it more in the chest, but Hicks came down on his arm there. Yeah, now 27-7. Ouch.
so I didn't get a good look at the formation. Let me turn this light on.
Well, Smith lined up straight outside, single with no motion. Like he was.
That part
he was going.
I got the important part of it. So
yeah,
here's the problem, right? So when you're rushing 5, which they did, and then from what it looked like, they were 4 over 3 to passing strength, right? So we got 3 here, and then we have our 4 defenders that are handling these 3 receivers. Because you're rushing 5, generally speaking, if you're just in straight quarters and we have a cone call backside on him, it's because we have this linebacker covering the back. But with this linebacker rushing, and this linebacker is, again, committed to the 4/3, this safety, who is Harrison Smith, is responsible for taking the back, right? Which means he's stepping down. He is not, holding a bracket inside on Devonta Smith for this deep post. So this corner is outside leveraged, and I have to imagine there was some sort of communication mistake, because if he knew that he didn't have help, he should have been playing it tighter and also inside leveraged, right? He should have been basically just in man coverage here. It looks like he thought that Harry was going to bracket with him, but with the pressure, you can't do the bracket or else the back is unaccounted for. So you got a deep post with no inside help. Jalen saw it. He knew he was going to take a hit, but as soon as he sees no safeties in the middle of the field, he's going to let that go and trust Devonta to go get it. So it looked like a communication issue where the corner thought, like you said, the corner thought the safety was bracketing, but the safety can't bracket because of the design of the pressure. Just communication mistakes there.
That's what happens a lot of times when we talk about a defense gelling, or we talk about the transition from one coach to another, or one system to another, even more profoundly, because if you're staying within the same system, but you have a different coach. For instance, San Francisco isn't running a wildly different defensive system with D'Amico gone. So a lot of those guys know the system, and yes, it's different flavors from a different coach, so that's not as big of a deal. Flores, as we said at the top of the broadcast, I think to everybody, but possibly just to ourselves, is a complete departure from what Minnesota was doing defensively last year. So there are going to be those things throughout the preseason, throughout the early season, where I thought you had it. I thought this was the rule. We played it this way last year. Nope. Turns out you didn't have help. And guess what? If you hesitate for a step against Devonta Smith, good luck.
Yeah. Is bootleg shot of the week coming back? We didn't get one for week 1 recap. We don't know yet. We're trying to figure
out where it fits. I saw that super chat from Jared. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. We know everybody really likes it. We like it too. We're just trying to figure out where it fits in the 3 pieces of content that we're doing every week, with the recap on Mondays being sort of immediate. Not sure we're going to sort of have enough votes in the door to be able to do it at that point. And we're not really editing that piece a lot. We're adding in a couple of elements, but we wouldn't be able to add the film in, which kind of makes that segment on this live stream probably not the right place either. That would mean it goes in the preview episode, which comes out tomorrow. Now, we didn't do it this week. Doesn't mean we won't do it later on in the season.
Yeah, we just we're trying to feel out these new formats and the new content schedule, and trying to figure it out as we go, basically.
True bootleg style.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I'll just take a quick minute that true bootleg style is working out. If you haven't noticed, everything's going really, really well, and it is because all of you folks. We have said that all along, and the folks that, again, have been with us for a long time, since the beginning. Some of you, maybe joined in last year when we found out we were doing the TNF streams, or came on over the big rush over the summer when we added 40% subscribers on YouTube because of the off-season preview series this summer. Doesn't really matter when you got here. We appreciate all of you and everything that you bring and the different ways that you support the channel, the content, us as individual creators. We can't say thank you enough. That's for sure.
All right, this pass rush is starting to really get dialed up. Oh, Kirk hit a big one to Addison, and he's gone.
They needed that.
Oh, my God, they needed that.
Yeah, they, in the worst way, they needed to be able to come back. And I'm not talking about a 12-play grinding run drive. Like, they needed that terribly. And that's why they drafted Jordan Addison.
Again, quarters look, backside safety, caught flat-footed.
And the tackling.
Well, actually, no. Wasn't caught flat-footed. Backside safety looks like he was actually poaching 3 vertical. You had Hawkinson coming up here. Again,
Yeah,
essentially
no,
the same look,
he
but you
takes
flip
a
it
step
around.
towards him,
Yeah,
and
no.
Addison
Backside
gives him
safety
the
was
jab
poaching
step.
3.
Yeah, Addison gives him the jab step that actually helps sell that. That's when we talk about Jordan Addison being one of, if not the best route runners in this draft. Watch the jab step he gives the safety to say, no, it's okay. You can go that way. I'm coming that way anyways. And then breaks it back vertical. So he has pure single coverage. Right when he passes the
Also,
first down marker, watch the inside jab step. Boom. And the safety's like, oh, he made him choose. And then look, you got to give a better effort on the tackle 28. Like that's a different thing.
the other element of it is if I'm that corner on the backside, who again, same kind of alignment, outside leverage and off, if I know my weak safety is going to be sitting on Hawkinson to get 3 vertical, play it tighter. Like, unless I know for a fact we have a cone call on the backside, play that shit tight, or you're just going to get the post thrown over your head. You don't have help unless you have help.
How profound, Mr.
But you know
Coleman.
what I mean, right? Like,
I do exactly know what you mean. And these are the kind of plays that rookies have to make to get, I'll just call it respect. Like true respect on the field means they're going to play you straight, right? Right now, they're going to play Justin Jefferson straight. They're going to play TJ Hawkinson to a point underneath straight. They're going to play a little bit loose with Addison because they're not sure, right? And these are the prove it type of plays that rookies need to make. And you make enough of those, and believe you me, opposing defensive coordinators are going to give you the tag, right? And the tag is Addison's made a play in every game. We got to play that guy straight.
well, Vikings needed it. Definitely.
Yeah, they needed the quick point. They couldn't afford to grind that one out. They would have lost time.
My over's looking good. It probably already hit. I bet the over pregame was, what, like 48? 45, 48, somewhere around there.
Garbage time Kirk is here. Oh, boy. When you can't outrun the reputation. Joe better start learning Canadian. I don't think so. I mean, you're talking about a rookie in his first start. You know, Avonte Maddox, once upon a time, was the victim of a couple of very vicious double moves that I saw coming in the first half and called, and he ended up getting absolutely torched by them in the second half. He is, he's grown from that. Those are mistakes that young defenders make. Eagles stuck with him, and he's a valuable part of their defense now. And I don't think Josh Jobs can be any different, but these are learning rookie lessons. And, when you are the only game in town and the whole rest of the league and honestly the whole country is watching because you're the one game that's on, they're painful. Believe you me, it's not going to be fun for him to go back and check the film and go, ooh, yeah, that hasn't looked great. But it's we talk about the welcome to the NFL moment. Like, that's one of them. It's probably not going to be the only one. All corners get burned. I don't care how good they are. But, it's really about how he reacts to it, not the fact that he made one rookie mistake. And, yeah, it was for a touchdown. But he's got a lot of potential. I definitely thought he was a draftable player. No reason to ship him off this early.
Britt, can you explain what a dime backer and a money backer is? It's kind of like what's the champagne's only champagne if it comes from the Champagne region of France. Otherwise it's sparkling wine. Like a money backer can be a dime backer, in the sense that money backer is a term that coaches use for like their hybrid safety linebacker that goes in either a nickel or dime look, right? So they call it money backer because, money personnel packages. Whereas a dime backer is basically just the linebacker that you have in dime, which is your money backer. Does that make sense?
Did you see the penalty on Dickerson?
No, I wasn't paying attention.
It didn't look like a penalty to me. I bet Jeff Stoutland, who they're showing in the ISO, is not particularly happy with that call. Another flag. Oh, that's the same flag. Sorry, watching the wrong TV. It's a repeat of the same flag. A little bit of outside screen game from the Eagles.
Well,
Vikings are pretty well.
they're making up the touches to DeAndre Swift this week.
Well, again, with Gainwell out, he was going to be the next guy in line. And, NFL classic, next man up. They paid a high pick for him. They believe in his ability to contribute to the offense. But, yeah, his volume and touches is going to go way up.
Again, there's
Another
that.
Oh,
man. False start.
And that's on Swift.
Called it on.
Whoops. Oh, he got up over his toes.
Yeah. And then they do the whole no, it was them.
Yeah, it was his fault. His fault. No, his fault. No, his fault.
So who are you pointing at, DeAndre?
11. Again, not a down and distance that the Eagles offense can't make, but boy, you'd sure rather have 3rd and 6. Oh boy.
There was a hole shot there at the bottom of the screen, but it would have been a really hard one to hit.
Yeah, and a lot of times with quarterbacks, you do say, look, I'm not going to say this is pivotal. They're still up 27-14, but you are going to say, look, we've got a lead here. Let your all-world defense go to work. You'd be all right. Don't throw a pick and have them, return a possible pick 6 here and really swing the momentum.
Yeah, you never want to go full Josh Allen.
Josh, boy, we need to talk about Josh. With all due respect to our Rockpile Report counterparts, Drew and Chris, he couldn't quit it, man. He couldn't stop. He knew he was on the downside of the roller coaster, and he just kept doubling down. It's the kind of guy, like, if that's your buddy in the casino, you got to walk over and take what's left of his cash and be like, no, man, you're going to be happier when you wake up. But nobody did, and he just kept doubling down, and it just kept not working out. They end up losing the game.
Shawshank Inception for $10. Hi, guys. I have a suggestion I think would make your Power Score presentation better overall for next year's preview series. May I DM either of you on Twitter and share my thoughts? Thanks for the content. Absolutely. Send those DMs
100%. Yeah, we get a lot of great ideas, not only from you all, but from other content creators. We're both in several chats with a lot of other folks that make all kinds of different content, usually sports related content, but some of it very different than the content we make. And I know that both Brett and I take inspiration from a lot of different sources. Whenever I go down to Brett's, he's got different channels playing on YouTube than I watch. And when he comes up here, vice versa. And we're just sort of pulling ideas from all over the space, and are absolutely happy to hear your thoughts about things that could improve the products. We do not always have the best ideas. We have a lot of good ones, but we certainly have no exclusive lock on great ideas. So thanks for offering.
I'm doing a live pick 'em right now while I still can.
Oh, in game. What do you got?
So they offered a discount on Kirk right now for 240 total yards. He's at about 150. So I just need him to get 90 yards.
Garbage time Kirk. You're betting on garbage time Kirk.
I think Jake Elliott for one more field goal. I know you hate kickers, but.
Well, in certain instances, this possibly being one of them, I'm all right with it.
So if we get all 4 of these, it's 10x. So we can win $50 on that.
All right. Quick question: do they allow insured slips for the in-game stuff?
They do if you don't take the discount.
Oh. one or the other. I get it. Okay.
All right, let me grab a link. I'll throw this into chat if anybody wants to tail it for in-game. Reminder, promo code bootleg over Underdog Fantasy will match your deposit up to $100. But if you're already on Underdog, there's a slip if you want to tail the in-game entry.
Yep. In-game options new this year. Oh, and while we have a second, Vikings running a play. We'll do it after that.
Yeah, they're moving.
Yeah, they're trying. Short game to the sideline. Shout out to Homage. It is starter jacket season. And if you want a starter jacket or you've wanted one in the past and not gotten on it before they've sold out, now's the time. I was talking to our rep at Homage today. A few teams have already sold out of starter jackets. So if you want one, especially one of the new satin ones, which are awesome, we're going to have one of those in our possession pretty quickly. Head over to homage.com. Use the link in the description. I think it's in this description. If not, go to the last podcast description. Check out the link. Support the podcast. Get yourself a fantastic starter jacket for your team, but do it quick. Some sizes and teams are already selling out. They've been up for less than a week. They have more inventory than they've ever had. This is their third year working with starter, but fans are absolutely rabid for both styles of the starter jackets, the pullover or the button-ups. And they last forever. They're great jackets. They're super warm. But if you want one for your team, get over there, get them now. They have the throwback styles this year. They've got the throwback
creamsicle.
They got the creamsicle for the Bucks if you're into that. They've got an Oilers powder blue, which is just dope. Head over to Homage. Great stuff, but they are not going to last. They're already selling out.
All right, Eagles have a long drive ahead of them here, but if they keep running the ball like they have, it could be a game-winning drive. They could put the nail in the coffin right now with like a good 13, 14 play running DeAndre Swift down your throat type of drive.
And what you need is a field goal at the end of that?
Oh, I would love a field goal at the end of that. Because then I just have a bunch of hires on Vikings, so they just have to throw like crazy.
Right. They just have to open it up, which they would do at that point. Oh, well, you're getting your wish early.
Yeah, just do that 10 more times. How about that?
You know, honestly, the way this team is built in Philadelphia, Jeff Stoutland is the offensive line coach, bunch of hosses up front. This was the identity that they established early last year, which was, hey, when we really need to, we can just run you over. We have all these great skill players. We have a very dynamic quarterback. But guess what? When we really want to, we can just go 5 on however many you want and blow you off the ball because our offensive line is better than most defensive lines we're going to come up against.
You see that rushing yard total, 150 to 14?
Oof. And the bottom line on Swift is I wouldn't say he's necessarily built for this particular kind of drive, but if you miss, good luck.
And I think you can do this with him, where he's getting this many touches. You can do this with him a couple times a year.
Yes.
I can't make it a habit, but you could do it a couple times.
That's a very apt description. He's not built for this week in, week out. But yeah, if you want to take a fourth quarter and say we need one right here and we're gonna take some tread off the tires, yeah.
Because typically you want to use him as like a Camara, right? A 12 to 15 touches. But every now and then you need this.
So risky sort of a catch in there on first down, but keeps the clock running. They get away with it.
Brett, did you see the Texans marketing SVP confirm the uniforms next year are going to have Love You Blue, H-Town Blue? That seems like a direct response to the Titans saying, no. We will outsell you.
We get these colors. Oh, uh-oh. If you're the Vikings, your hopes just took a shot.
It's a big run.
Yeah, and a first down, which is going to allow them to bleed more clock. Oh, did I see I can never tell with the Vikings wearing yellow gloves if that was a flag getting tossed in there or if that was a random Vikings defender sticking his hand in late.
At least they don't wear the yellow towels anymore. Those were just a nightmare.
those things falling off left and right. But look at the hosses up front for the Eagles. They're getting excited. They know what this means.
Yep.
They just get to fire off and beat guys up. Oh man,
Again.
they're starting to break.
And I have to imagine at this point, because they've just been getting this medicine all night long, Vikings defense has to be exhausted.
Yeah, and
You know,
honestly, you can do, DeAndre Swift, but you got Boston Scott too, and
no, they're
he's
not playing against
just,
the Giants. It's not his week.
yeah, he's not eligible.
No, no. They keep him for
But I
2
mean,
games a year.
he's fully capable of doing this or the quick screen game, which is just an extension of the run game. But look at those guys up front; they're just hungry. They're like, "You're gonna let me fire off every play? Really? Okay, cool. Like, let's go maul some people." And they're doing it. They're absolutely just meat hooking them down the field.
Yeah, this is
Juergens
gross.
especially is like, "Oh yes, this is what I've waited for." He is ultra aggressive.
We said at the beginning of the game that we thought the Vikings wanted this, right? Force them to run, stop the pass, play red zone defense.
Yeah, but not now, not like this.
No, but
early
it's
they
more
wanted
so
this. Late they don't want it.
like this game is the exact. Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. The plan was this, but then they got punched in the mouth, and they're like, "We're gonna do it again." And it's like, at some point,
man. I'm going to give Brian Johnson his flowers right here because he is willing to do this. And there are a lot of offensive coordinators around the league right now that would not do this just kind of purely out of ego. They want to get cute. They got some plays they want to try out. He's like, nope, we're going to run it like 9 times in a row. Now, they just threw it right there, but it was basically a sort of – wasn't really an RPO. It was a play action. But, play action, they end up flaring it out to the back, which, again, is an extension of the run game. He is just like run, 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 run. Here's another run. Like, he is – for everybody out there that hates their offensive coordinator because they abandoned the run too quickly, like Brian Johnson is giving them hope that, oh, no, if you've got the offensive line and the talent to do it and a lead, like, I'll give you what you want. I'll give you, 9 out of 11 plays being runs.
this is
3rd and 3.
Are they
got him? Oh no! They hard countered him. They get. Oh, look at Kevin O'Connell. He knows he just got pantsed. That's brutal. Harrison Phillips. Oops. And makes contact. Oh, with Kelsey. Oh. You get the defenders so keyed up that you hard count them, and all they want to do is jump off because they know they're just going to get smacked in the mouth, so they want to smack back first, and oops, free first down, end of the 3rd quarter. Yikes. More fireworks.
I feel for Brian Flores because you can tell what the plan was, and you can also just see that it slowly evaporated throughout the night, and he doesn't have any other answers for this.
Yeah, when we talk about a very thin window for a team, either on offense or defense, and we say they need to play within that to have a chance, or they need to play within that to keep it close, or if they're going to, they're going to win the game, they can't deviate. They start out like that. Like, we're not brilliant rocket scientists. Like, the coaches know this better than we do. And, they start out like that. But sometimes you get run off your mark by a more physical team, a more well-prepared team, a team that just has more talent. We talk about Jimmys and Joes versus X's and O's. Sometimes the Jimmys and Joes, and in this case, the Philadelphia offensive line, just better than what you've got out there. And yeah, you wanted to do one thing, but they wanted to do their own thing that was in opposition, and they're winning. So you get to try and adjust, but your best chance, again, sort of went the way of the dodo bird.
Yeah, I just think at this point they're so gassed. They haven't been able to stop the run all night. Like this is, even though there's a
Yeah,
whole
and all they're
quarter
going to
left,
get
like
is
this
more,
thing's over.
right? This is just MOAR at this point.
Yeah.
Because if you're
No.
Philadelphia, you don't have any incentive to go a different way right now. In fact, you've got every incentive to keep doing what you're doing because it's working. And that's the last thing the Vikings want because they're throwing everything they have at the wall and nothing's sticking.
And if you are the Vikings, again, I said this earlier when you were gone, the silver lining was, oh, they'd probably be winning this game were it not for ball security. So if they clean up the turnovers, which have been plaguing them the first 2 weeks, like theoretically they could bounce back here. But this soft of a run defense is a much harder fix than ball security. And if this particular theme keeps up throughout the season, what are they going to do when they go against Green Bay? What are they going to do with, if Chicago ever unfucks themselves and learns how to run the ball? What are they going to do against Roshan? This is not good. Like Detroit will lean on them with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Like this run defense, honestly, is the more concerning problem than turnovers to me, because that's the harder thing to fix.
Yeah, and they've got we talked about this in one of our pods this week. The offensive line coach for the Giants was talking about JMS at center, their rookie center, John Michael Schmitz from Minnesota, and they were saying, well, how do you get him ready for the fact that there's no Tulsas on his schedule, right? That the person that he's going against every week basically has all pro potential. He said, no, I tell him there's a werewolf every week, right? There's somebody across from you that is superhuman and just wants to tear your face off. Like there are no breaks. And if Minnesota thinks they're going to get breaks in terms of, maybe less good, but still very professional offensive lines, if they show weakness against the run, offensive coordinators, we talk about this all the time, they're heartless, right? They will continue to just poke the wound until it stops bleeding, right? And if you can't stop the bleeding as the Vikings, if you can't bow up and stop the run and really, again, counter someone with a very powerful offensive line and say, no, you're not going to beat us that way. You've got to go to something else. If you can't do that, like that's going to be the plan, like ad nauseum until you change.
3rd and 9 here. Definitely cone call on the backside. Looks like quarters.
Spread look.
4 front side.
Oh,
it went into cover 3.
Yeah, I just want to say that's almost more on Devonta, right? You got to run that past the sticks. You can't think that you're automatically going to peel out of that one.
Interesting rotation there.
Yeah. The guy they sent out wide. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, that's backbreaking.
Yeah, that's ball game. I know there's a
push
quarter left,
for
but
a
that's
4th down conversion. Again, what are you going to do against all those horses up front? And Minnesota, and honestly, not just Minnesota, like nobody had an answer for this last year. We're going to.
Oh, no.
Sorry, this is the play you're running.
You died for a second there, but you're back. We're good.
Woof. I feel better already.
That Washingtonian internet.
Yeah.
All right. 2x2 here. Showing 0.
Urge just getting rid of it. Oh no, he's going for the end zone.
I mean,
oh, but a flag. What do we got?
I don't know who it's on though.
Nah, that's the thing. Philly seems pretty confident. Oh, coming back. Oh no.
And Jalen, to his credit, he saw the 0 coming, and his thought was, "I just have to survive long enough to get it out there, because there's no help." He ends up
getting 2 of them as well. I mean, if you're going to take a penalty, 2 for 1 doesn't seem terrible.
But you can see as soon as he got the snap, he already started running, because he's like, "I know we don't have the numbers to block this. I just need to survive until AJ gets down there."
Yeah, well, guess who he had to hold?
Pace, of course.
Yeah, Ivan Pace Jr. Faux show.
Yeah. The only
Oh
good thing about the
man.
Vikings defense tonight has been Ivan Pace.
Well, I think we're gonna say that kind of all year long about him. He's a talented guy, and he ended up. We talk about landing spot being so important for especially quarterbacks, but really all players. Oh man, look at the first step. Like that's not Penny's fault. Like Pace sold him on a
Yeah.
jab step, and
Oh, he
then
wants
got
it
speed.
again.
That's hard to deal with.
All right, Jalen definitely has AJ Brown on his fantasy team, and he is trying to pay this off. Oh man,
Yeah, but
this is
you
giving him
throw that
shots.
ball to to AJ Brown, like you know, oh, he just tripped over his own feet.
Yeah, if he didn't catch his own left toe on his heel, he
Yeah,
might have been able
he
to.
ended up dragging that second to last step, and that was the boy. We talk about it being a game of inches. That's what we're talking about. Like if he didn't catch his feet there, that's a touchdown. Like 9 times out of 10. But
Sat
Caleb
Swift
Evans
last
has
week,
got
and
to be feeling picked on.
yeah, Nintendo for $5 says sat Swift last week and started him this week on a hunch. I think a trip to Vegas is in order. Yes, I think so too. Well, especially
Yeah,
because
if you got the winning lottery numbers, go ahead and share them.
well, the Eagles have a history of this, right? It was a couple of years ago in Hurts's first season starting where they were pass, and everybody was like, "When are you guys gonna run the fucking ball?" It took them like 6 weeks.
Yeah,
And then
and
eventually
then
they started doing it.
they did it. Yeah, Aegon says PI. It was close. Absolutely. Evans was coming down on his arm as that ball was coming down in real time in the end zone. That's a very tough call to make. It reminds me of a call in soccer when somebody's in the box and they get taken down. Like, did they? Was it on the line? Like that's a game changing call. I think with Philadelphia up, they just let him play a little bit. But I'm not going to argue that. It's arguable that was PI, but it was close.
Curtis says,
He
speaking of
says, I need
Roshan,
2 more catches from Devontae and AJ to make $100. Well, I hope you get your 2 more catches.
Curtis says, speaking of Roshan, how soon till he's RB1 in Chicago? I would go by Thanksgiving.
On effort alone, and I'm not just talking about effort on.
Oh no, EJ died. I don't know. I think Google is conspiring against you.
And well, that may be a thing. But now I see it on YouTube. That's disturbing. I'm reliving my own death, Brett.
I mean, it might be on my end. I don't know, but
It's possible.
I'll figure that out.
We've got enough systems running here. It's difficult to figure out where the breakdown is.
You could argue that's PI.
You could, but in real time, it's a lot harder.
It's tough. Like, it's a maybe. Oh, I got the Theragun out. Somebody's cramping.
Jared says he thinks I need a full Wi-Fi reset. Little does he know.
It's coming.
I'm going to turn off the big
Jalen,
screen.
you got him. Jalen.
Lower the draw. You need some of that gigabit internet. Alex, you have no idea.
So by the end of the season, he's just going to do the Thursday stream from the public library that has like 2 gigabit upload.
They do have a soundproof podcast booth. I probably could sign up for it.
Theoretically.
Oh.
Man.
Yeah, no, for everybody watching at home on the stream, I attempted to get an upgrade in internet service a couple of weeks ago because I'm on everybody's watch list. An upgrade by 50 feet.
Of him dying in the middle of this is so funny.
He said it would only be $30,000 for a plant extension. Yes.
Another sack on Jalen. And that's just effort from Daniil Hunter. Also, Jalen, unfortunately, living to die another down. Emphasis on the dying part, which is bad for us. We needed that field goal, but a couple losses in a row knocks us out of range. All right, so we need Kirk and TJ Hawkinson and Addison to just go ham right now. EJ talking about his upgrading his internet and immediately freezes. I will say it was worse last year, so we're doing okay.
That does not make me feel better. EJ on the Bureau of Agriculture's watch list. Oh, yeah.
Also, hardwire everything. I have to imagine that's in the cards on this during renovation that's going on.
Oh no, I have wires right over there, but yeah, I have not yet. Unfortunately, the wall that the wires come through is the last one we're paneling, so we had to pull the wires out so they don't get all glued. But they'll be back. We'll have hard wires for everything.
Yeah, in which case we'll be more stable in the future. Again, we got, how many hours into this stream before we had issues? Not bad. Not bad.
Not terrible. Not great. I also let my now 1 year older children know that they should probably hop off the internet for the last, 40 minutes of this instead of downloading everything because, that's what they love to do now.
Oh, right, motion into a wing slot left. We're still faking the run. Down by how many? And he drops it.
Yeah, the drop was a killer there. That's tough for KJ Osborne. Like he's a very good receiver, and all receivers are going to drop some, but that's a tough spot to drop it in. He was open, and Kirk hit him right in the hands.
This is a very unfortunate Vikings team overall. Like this feels classic can't get out of their own way Vikings.
Well, wow. Right. I'm going to give Kurt a ton of credit on that play. Like a ton of credit.
That's a gutsy throw. To Justin Jefferson getting tattooed.
Well, I believe it was left tackle got absolutely massacred, and he knew he was going to take a shot.
Looks like he's hurt, too. Is that Darisaw?
No, Darisaw was hurt last week. He didn't play most of last week. He was dinged up. And he came back in and was not himself, but I don't know what his status was. I don't think he started this week.
I thought I saw him in uniform.
It's possible. That wasn't him, though.
Yeah, so Darisaw was active. I don't know if he's on the field. Let me look here. And I think I saw 74 is the number. So, that's Udo. Yeah, Darisaw's backup. Well, if Darisaw's active, but he wasn't on the field, theoretically he could come on now. Since he is active.
Ooh, good question.
I guess we'll see.
Super chat for $5. Brett, any plan for a fan meetup in Dallas in 2 weeks? Looking forward to Pats. Cowboys go Pats. Maybe. We were just talking about that this morning, as a matter of fact. I might show up in Big D for that one. So if that's the case, we'll definitely try. We do have quick turnarounds on both ends, which is what's working against us there. But we'll see if we can't swing something.
I might be able to meet people at the stadium easier than doing like a meetup event. Because I'm going to be... I have like a whirlwind schedule even getting into Dallas. I'm going from LA to Portland. I'm in Portland for like 20 hours. And then I'm flying overnight to Dallas via Atlanta. So I go LA, Portland, Atlanta, Dallas. I get in probably like 10 hours before the Cowboys game starts, take a nap, go to the game. If anybody's at the game, meet people at the game. And then I got first flight out in the morning on Monday so that we can come back here and do our recap show. So it's a wild weekend. I don't know if I'll be able to do an event, but I could meet people at the game if you're going to be there.
Or, in the Walmart parking lot where we waited for an Uber.
That's true. Cart came out for Udo, unfortunately. Looks like it's a bad one.
Is not great news. And Vikings, again, already suffering some injury on the offensive line. Not alone in the NFC in that particular situation, but that's unfortunate for them and another sort of knock against them making a run. Yeah, watch this. He gets massacred. He just gets flat out, dropped.
Kirk? Oh, God, he did. Yeah, that's a gutsy.
No, I saw that live. I didn't think he got hurt. It just looked like he got tossed out of the way. And he did get tossed out of the way, and unfortunately he did get hurt, which, we never want to see that for anybody.
Yeah, I couldn't tell quite what it was.
Looked like maybe he landed on his arm strangely, but yeah, I couldn't tell either. How are we doing on quality, stream? Let me know if things are goofy.
Oh, you're good now.
Yeah, seems like we've reduced some internet load here at the house, so we should be a little bit cleaner.
All right. Still under center running Alexander Madison down by 13 points with 10 minutes to go when you haven't been able to stop the run all night. Not sure I'm a big fan of that.
Oh, looking like middle field closed. Play action. He got what he wanted. It's a tight window throw, but he drilled it.
Yeah, when in doubt, throw it up to JJ. He might be over. Let me look. So oh my God, he's at 93 and I'm at over 93 and a half.
It's 10 minutes.
You gotta be kidding me.
It's 10 minutes. We got it. They will throw another ball to JJ, says me.
Oh, man.
Oh, you got to go the other way. Nope. It's going back the same side. Not going to get it. Ugh. Trying to get Josh Oliver sneaking out on the strength of the formation. That was an odd call.
Edge was just right in his face. You can do that. If you're a right-handed quarterback, you can get it out quicker if you're going the other way. But in terms of having an edge in your face and you're opening your shoulder into him and then rotating into him, it's not as protected of a throw. Like if you're rolling the other way, you can kind of sidearm it. It's a little bit easier. So
did you see the point stat for the Vikings? That's amazing.
All right. 2nd and 10. They got to go. They got to go right now. Because you might need 3 possessions to get this done. Also, we need how many more yards from Hawkinson? Like 13? I would love that right now.
I don't know if you're going to get that. Maybe.
It depends. We just need one big ball.
Oh, here you go. There's JJ.
All right. So we're over on JJ. And again, this slip is insured. I only have to hit 4 out of 5 for it to pay out, and then we win $25.
What?
So I just need Hawkinson to get 13 more yards, and we're good. We're in the money tonight.
Jefferson was uncovered in the slot almost at the snap. They had a super late rotation. He was basically wide open from the go. Ooh. Osborne with a touchdown.
Kirk again, getting it out as he throws. I'll
Yeah,
say this
no,
about
he
Kirk:
he
he's
got it.
fucking tough.
He got it smacked again. He fully understands that he needs to take shots to play quarterback the way he plays, and is completely willing to do it. Ton of respect for that.
All right, so 6 point game. 8 minutes ish to go? Maybe 7 and change to go in the fourth quarter. Still have 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
The Vikings have a chance if they can finally stop the run.
Yeah, and if they can't, they're done. On that touchdown, Josh Jobe thought that he was passing off Osborne, and there was nobody to pass him off to. He had him all the way, and he clearly stopped as Osborne broke and thought, okay, he's heading into somebody else's zone. The rest of the defenders were explaining to him afterwards, no, he was yours all the way, buddy. There was nobody to pass him off to. So he'll learn from that. For people that are ready to shoot him into the sun, it's a little early for that. These are the kind of mistakes that corners make. And unfortunately, usually if a rookie corner makes that kind of mistake, it's a touchdown. And it's been that way a couple of times tonight. And he's not going to get any grace in Philly tomorrow, but you got to give him a chance. He's a talented player. We'll see how he responds, which is way more important than the initial piece.
So if I'm the Eagles, I come out, I do my normal inside zone, inside zone, inside zone over and over and over again. If I'm the Vikings, I get away from all of these, 5 and 6 man services on the line of scrimmage, our linebackers, getting into the gaps, everything like that, because I feel like they have done a really poor job of creating traffic jams. And that's the point, right? They're trying to get a body in every single gap and do that. But the Eagles' offensive line is so big that they're just doing that to basically just create a wave so that you can cut off of a backside. So I kind of want to see the Vikings switch up how they're playing the run, take their linebackers off the line of scrimmage, and then let them kind of do fallback fits, as coaches call it, where you basically let your defensive line get washed and then you fall back into the cutback lane, because if they keep getting washed with the defensive line when they're mugged up there. So I would like to see them kind of stay on the second level and then fall back into the fit. They might have a better shot at stopping the run that way, but we'll see.
Yeah, when we talk about guys making transitions from one system to another, Alex Larson brought up in the chat, this is why match zone is so common in college. You just stay with the guy once he crosses into your zone. Guarantee that the rules at Alabama are a little bit different than the rules in Philadelphia, and Josh Jobe may have reverted to, hey, this is the way we played that there, and it's not the way they play it here, and that's a harsh lesson to learn on national TV, but we'll see again whether or not the most important thing is that he learns that lesson and doesn't make the mistake again. That's the most important thing with all rookies, rookie quarterbacks, rookie receivers, everybody, linemen, everything else. And, it just happens to be a lot more high profile if you blow it as a quarterback or as a cornerback.
Somebody in chat said, what is the Bear Front named after the Chicago Bears? And yes, in particular, it was when Chicago was running the 46 defense in the 80s with Buddy Ryan, Rex Ryan's dad. To my recollection, they were the first ones to use it.
Oh, remember what we said about the Vikings having to stop their run?
Well, but you see that wave develop, the wave of bodies develop, and then the cutback lane. That's been killing them all night long.
Yeah, and it's, again, I'm going to give Brian Johnson as a young offensive coordinator, not necessarily a young football coach, but this is his first time, wearing this big of a hat, and he's not, for the most part, getting cute. He's saying we are better than you across the front, and we are going to run behind those guys until you stop us. I'm not going away
There's
from this.
again.
Yeah, no, they're literally punching them in the mouth, and Vikings don't have an answer. And if you've played football, it is one of the most demoralizing things ever. Like, we know it's coming. We're trying to stop it, and we can't, and we know it's coming again. And it's going to just, the beatings will continue until morale improves.
And there it is. Another
Nah,
inside zone, another 4 yards.
Yeah,
Watch,
if
repeat.
you can't stop it, I'm going to give Brian Johnson a lot of credit from just not saying, "Oh, I'm bored. I'm going to do something fancy." Like, oh, I'm just going to keep drilling it down your throat, and if you can't stop it, I'm going to win this game.
And Flores, you can see on his face, he knows, like, we
Yeah,
just don't have the gas. Like, that tank is empty.
and I think he also knows that if, as somebody in chat suggested, they do sell out against the run, Philadelphia is easily good enough and well schooled enough to pivot and throw it over their heads and end it that way. So it's, die by the one quick slash or 1,000 cuts. Doesn't matter. You're still going to die.
They did get him into 3rd and 5 because, again, you saw the linebackers off line of scrimmage allowed to scrape. It's a good potential stop here, but they got to hold up.
They only rushed 3. Can't get it done.
Yeah. Oh, man. The dreaded stick route on 3rd and 5. At that point, you're just thrown against leverage, and you're trusting that, you're going to hit that throw before that window closes. And Brown's just working off leverage, right?
Yeah, and Flores played it to tendency, right? If you play man here, numbers say that Hurts is going to destroy you. Hurts' percentages against man are some of the highest in the league over the last year. Like, he eats against man. So he played zone, which was the right call, and now they bust a run coverage, and that's that.
Yep.
So
Dunzo.
Flores went, he played it by the numbers, right? He bet chalk. He said it's better to rush 3 and go in zone than it is to play man because, again, we're tired, and Jalen Hurts eats man. Well, Jalen Hurts was good enough to eat zone with A.J. Brown, and then that was the air out of the balloon, right? That was literally the pin in the balloon, and now DeAndre Swift does what he does, which is what I said earlier in the broadcast. Like, if you miss one against Swift, he's going to do this to you. They miss one, and that's ball game.
And the size differential between Mailata and Metellus, I mean, you got no shot.
How about Mailata and everybody? Like, Mailata standing in the Eagles huddle. There's a lot of other big Eagles offensive linemen. He towers over everybody in his own huddle.
But you're getting a 6'7", 900-pound left tackle onto a nickel on the second level. Like, it's everything you want.
Yeah, good night. That's a matchup you live for as a coach if it's your guy that's 6'7" and 900 pounds. But yeah, that's I feel for the Vikings. Again, I feel for Flores. It's not like he called a dumb game or a reckless game or anything else. He called a good game, and he didn't really have the guys to pay it off.
Yeah, Richard Seymour is not walking through that door.
Yeah.
You don't have it. Dante Hightower is not walking through that door.
Yeah, our buddy Ross Tucker said that this is the Howie Roseman game, right? That the Eagles' depth was going to be tested, and Howie Roseman is the best in the league right now at assembling depth at all levels of the roster. And it's just showing here our guys are better than your guys, and this does turn out to be a Howie Roseman game in the end.
This looks like it's going to be another inside zone call right behind Lane Johnson. Oh, he bounced it front side and still paid it off. Made Harry miss in space.
Yep. That's when DeAndre Swift is your fallback option. You're
But
doing
look at how
fine.
quick he bounced that, and
Oh
then
yeah,
he was
no,
fully lateral, and still made Harrison Smith miss in space. That's
yeah, and
insane.
that's his game, right?
Yeah.
Again, we said lining up and pounding him between the tackles is not what you want to do with him all the time. He can do it occasionally, but that's what you want to do with him all the time is get him to either what I'll call the close edge or the far edge. That was the close edge because he does have that lateral agility and quickness that is special. You saw it right there. Like it didn't look very good when he got the handoff. He had Harrison Phillips right in his face, gets outside and just makes a really nice cut to just dog Harrison Smith. Like he left Harrison Smith just grasping at vaporware. Like,
Yeah. Man, rough day to be a Vikings fan. Just to be physically overwhelmed for 4 straight quarters. And that's the thing, is like they still could have maybe won this game without the turnovers, but you can commit one cardinal sin in the NFL, but you can't commit two, let alone five.
yeah, and they held it closer than I thought they would for longer than I thought they would. I mean, this game was in reach, honestly, until that touchdown, right? If they had been able to, continue their drive, get a stop, like they were within, it was a 1-score game. Now, 4 minutes left, you'd have to have, again, a very quick strike. You can't spend a lot of time doing it, and then you have to get lucky. So,
Which, in fairness to the Vikings, we have seen them win more improbable games,
yes.
but it's tough to do that a lot.
Yes. Oh man. Look at the bruising on Rodgers' foot. Ouch. That just reminds me of nasty stuff.
It's good that Dr. Elatrosh did it, though. He is one of the best you could possibly have do that surgery.
Yep.
He is like the foot guy. Or foot/ankle guy.
Oh no!
Osborne,
Osborne's second bad one tonight. He's gonna have to focus up. He can't keep having those. That could have been pick six, the way it popped up.
Yeah, it's starting to see why they drafted Addison.
He just took his eyes off it. I mean, Osborne was incredibly effective last year. He was a very good number 2. You needed one more option, but it's not really good if you draft Addison and Osborne regresses a ton because then you still only got 2. You really wanted 3. Oh, how did Jefferson catch that?
Because he's just.
I know that's a common refrain in the NFL, but
he's so insane, dude.
Like Slay was all over that ball.
That's one of those. If you're a DB, you tip your cap. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, I would agree. Ooh. That's a play that looked a lot more exciting than it actually was.
It kept him in bounds.
Yeah,
we got a flag
for
though.
Sure. Little ISO shot of O'Neal. That's not good. Props to the camera crew tonight. They knew who they were looking for.
I will say, so the production of Amazon games, which I believe is done by NBC, like at least last year, I know NBC was heavily involved in the production of TNF on Amazon. I think that's the case again this year. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is. But the production of TNF is phenomenal. Like they do a great job with it.
Even the pregame, I watched a little bit of pregame as we were getting our stream ready, and night and day difference between this year and last year. Like they look dialed this year.
You can tell that they had more than 3 months to get ready because last year they basically had 90 days to put together a football program.
Yeah, it felt like less. No, this year looks very slick, very pro. Big props to their production team. They've taken some major steps, and it shows.
Mike Mariano, who's like the head producer on it, at least he was last year. I think he still is this year. He was one of my old producers at NFL Network, and he is fantastic
Oh,
Every show he
no.
ever worked on was great.
Woo. Kirk just got blasted again.
Oh, by Fletch too. That's a lot of weight leaning on you.
Yeah, you don't really want to take any of those shots, but that's definitely a no-no.
All right, so 3rd and 15, down by 13 points. Barely any time left. Also, I want to know what brand of Vaseline the Vikings dumped all their gloves in, because it's getting a little bit ridiculous at this point.
Well, this is one place you and I talked about this on the preview episode this summer, that we thought they were going to be just fine with Alexander Mattison as the lead back. But the one place where you're really taking a hit is Dalvin's a better receiver.
Did we
Is
go
that
over
enough
on
for Hawkinson?
We might be like right there. I don't know. It hasn't ticked over yet.
Well, they still got 2 minutes. They're going to get a playoff before the 2-minute warning.
Come on.
Fourth and 3. Boom, got it.
All right. We are green on the night. First slip one of the year. Let's fucking go, chat.
Nice. I was green when we started tonight, but you're now green too, so I feel good about this.
I've been trying for like 4 game days to get a slip dialed in, and I think we finally got it.
You just needed me to show up on the stream. That's all. Uh-oh. Madison making good. We were just talking bad about his ability, his hands in the passing game. He didn't make the same mistake twice, which is awesome. But yeah, generally one of the things that you were going to take a downgrade on in general if you're the Vikings offense moving from Dalvin Cook to Madison, not really rushing ability. And I know some fans are going to get on me about that and say, oh, they're equal or they're not equal. You know, Dalvin's a better runner. Well, he has slightly more big play ability, but Madison has been producing at a very high level in the run game for a while now. In the passing game, it's not the same thing. Dalvin's going to give you more than Madison. And you just kind of have to adjust. And again, they did. They drafted Addison and, you know, they brought in Hawkinson last year. They have plenty of targets to throw to. They don't need to lean on Madison in the pass game. But when it comes down to it and those guys are covered, you can't just flip it out to the back and expect amazing things to happen. You can expect, you know, solid stuff, which happened on the last play, but you're not getting, you know, twisting 60-yard runs like you get out of Kamara or Dalvin in the passing game with Madison in there.
So we hit on our pregame slip. If we get Jordan Addison with like another 20 yards here, we hit on our in-game slip.
Oh, just 20 and they're at the 35.
Oh, wait. No, we won't, because Jake Elliott didn't get a field goal opportunity. Okay, so the in-game one's probably dead. But we're still positive on the night. We'll take it.
Well, there we go. There we go.
That's why we don't bet on kickers, EJ. Fuck.
I don't know. I've heard somebody say that before. Oh, no! And that's it. Ball game.
Another fumble?
Yep.
What is that, 6 lost fumbles?
7, I think.
But just from one team, I think it's 6.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't keeping track of who was chucking it up. I was just saying in total, I think that's 7 for the game. It's a lot.
Did they grease up the ball? Like, what's going on?
We got a flag.
Offside defense.
Offside.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Dude.
I mean, not that it really matters, but that's a bummer. He is clearly lined up offside.
Yeah. I mean, barely, but.
You, of all people, made a video about this week.
I know. But they're supposed to call it on the offense, though.
Right. Just hide your eyes when it's the defense. Oh! Nope. Kirk trying to fit one in at the end. He's pressing a little bit. He went to Hawkinson there. I'm not going to fault him. It's a decent shot. Throw it up there, see if he can get it. The ball is in the right place, and Hawkinson gets mugged a little bit. I'm not going to say that he doesn't. You know,
They're slightly early, but
yeah,
they're
but he
generally
got his
not going to
hand
call
on the
that.
ball, which saved him. If he had not gotten his hand on the ball coming through like that, he would have pulled a flag for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, no. How does he fit that ball in there?
You know, this game is not Kirk's fault. He has dropped
No.
some seeds in this one.
No, that was unrealistic. Let's just say that. If somebody pulled that against you in Madden, you'd throw your controller.
Yeah.
Oh, and Hawkinson scores late.
We do love garbage time, don't we, chat?
Well,
That's
Kirk
how we
loves
make our
garbage
money
time.
here.
Kirk loves garbage time. Who loves garbage time? Kirk loves
Curtis
garbage
just made
time.
$360. Let's fucking go.
Oh, nice. Let's
Yes.
go, chat. Put your wins in the chat, man. There's enough times that folks don't win. Put your wins in the chat. We are happy to share them.
All right. Technically, the game's
Give me
not
them
out of
garbage
reach,
time
but they
fantasy
have to
points.
recover an onside kick.
Yeah, no. Officially end the astigmatism theory. Huh? Oh, boy.
You're correct. Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
We'll put that one to
Chat,
bed.
we love you. We missed you. We did. We are happy that you're back.
Plus 112.50. Michael's plus 280 on the night. Let's fucking go, guys. We love it when we get an offensive oriented TNF game that lets us make money. We didn't get too many of those last week.
Some of those
or last year.
Some of those 13-6 matchups, tough to win.
I think the league learned their lessons. Like, you know what? Let's not put the Broncos onto Thursday Night Football.
However, did you see that the Jets are like 5 out of the next 11 weeks in primetime games?
I'll defend the networks on that because it probably would have been good if Aaron was
100%.
healthy.
100%. But can we have like an emergency flex? Is that a thing? Can we drop a couple of those? Like not all of them. I feel for Jets fans. Put their defense on prime time. It deserves to be there. But for the rest of us, can we kick a couple of those to the curb and get, game of the week maybe?
I nominate that we put the Chargers in primetime every single week because they always deliver. Win or lose, at least you're going to be entertained.
Yeah, for sure. And even more so with Kellen in the fold this year.
Honestly, just give us Chargers Dolphins every single week. Let them play 17 times.
Yeah, I gotta say, the way Tua is seeing it right now, he's always been a quick processor. That was one of the things that we lauded, with him coming out of college, that was a real strength. The quickness with which he's seeing things right now is unmatched. Like, I don't know that anybody is seeing the field as quickly as Tua right now. He is some of the snap throws he made in week 1 versus the Chargers were, I just don't even know how you see it and throw it that fast. Really impressive stuff.
They did not get the pop on the onside that they wanted, so it just
They
fell
did not.
straight into the Eagles' lap. So that'll be ball game. I saw in chat somebody made $37.50. Scully said, "Thanks for $37.50, Brett. Hopefully OT for Goddard." We're not getting OT tonight, but it's all right. We're still positive. We're still positive on the night. I think we're gonna get probably a couple runs here, and then victory formation from the Eagles.
Anime Holic Tops asked Brett, did you see Tua's response when he was asked about haters saying you can't throw it deep? I did. He's like, don't care. 466,
the
man.
narrative that's left over from 3 years ago
Right,
at
but he
this
was
point
like,
now.
I don't care. He was flat out. He didn't even hesitate. He's like, I don't care. Like 466. If that's what it looks like, if I can't throw deep, 466. Like, fine.
Also,
Don't care.
that ball that he uncorked to Tyreek late, where he was running forward towards the line of scrimmage and just
That's the one they showed when he was answering it.
it was so good.
He was so good last year. We talked about that in the previews this summer. If you watched our Dolphins preview, which we did from up here in Washington, we talked about how he was leading the league and throwing deep balls early in the season before he got hurt last year. How he was faster 1,000 yards than any quarterback in recent history. Like this is not a new thing. This is the beginning of last year. This time last year he was already there. People just fail to adjust their expectations or fail to catch up to what I'll call reality. And, we try and bring you that stuff and sort of pull the curtain back a little bit on some of those things, which are just clearly not true, which sort of, for whatever reason, maintain some momentum as a narrative and just clearly aren't backed up by facts. We try and, shed some light on those things. And that's one of them that if you've been listening to Bootleg or watching Bootleg for any amount of time, you knew that was fantasy a long time ago.
It's
some
the
people
difference between getting a coach that believes in you, what McDaniel does, and then compared to the first year or two of his career, there was no Jalen Waddle there was no Tyreek Hill there. Who was he throwing to? So you get him weapons, you get him a coach that believes in him and a system that he can execute. It's like maybe this Tua was in there all along, but they just wasn't the structure.
13 seconds left and we're getting a flag. Look at Nick Sirianni. He's like, really? Okay. You throw it now, guys? Okay.
Calling false starts.
I guess. Like, it is Goddard. He does stand up. Like, he's a set player and he moves. I love the stop, though. The little mannequin stop. He's like, I didn't move. You didn't see it? So they do have to punt it away? Wow.
So we're going to get... If we can get a big punt return here, there's a Hail Mary opportunity, but I don't know. It's long,
You're
long
still
odds
trying to
here.
make every last person in chat money, aren't you?
If that's what it takes to get my Jordan Addison over.
How short? 20 yards?
20.
Yeah. Well, that's what it would take, all right.
I won't win the slip, but I at least want to get as close as I can.
Yeah, no, I just want to say thanks to everybody who hung out for the whole thing. If you're still here, if you just joined, either way, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications so you don't have to remember every random Thursday that we're on. We'll be here just about every week of the season. We might take a 1-week break, but, I think it's going to be fun. Like you said, I think the league maybe learned their lesson about not putting low-scoring teams on Thursday nights because we had some absolute dogs last year. Looks like the schedule's a little bit better this year, and we're happy to share it with all of you.
And again, for next week, if you guys aren't already on Underdog and you want to play with us next Thursday, you can use promo code BOOTLEG down at the link in the description below. They'll match your deposit up to $100. So whatever you deposit, they will double it for you, and you can use all that extra money on the platform doing whatever you want, whether it's pick'ems or in-game pick'ems or any other sport that's going on right now. They're supporting the show for the next 2 years. We could not thank them enough. And they made a fascinating game tonight a little bit more interesting. So we appreciate them for that.
And we too are in week 1 form, so we'll dial in our in-game performance. We got our pregame. We're good with the script. We'll see if we can't be a little bit more agile as games go on and see if we can't nail them both. We'll get a couple of doubles this year.
Also, it would help if I learned to actually hit the go live button when I'm supposed to. That'd probably help.
I wasn't going to bring it up again, at least not publicly. Privately, I'll bring it up for the next 2 years. But publicly, I wasn't going to bring that up again. Now, and look, I caught it. We didn't miss any game time.
It's only 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes of pregame time. Like, okay.
All right. I'm going to get a Hail Mary, probably a hook and ladder type situation going on here.
Nah, they're gonna run Kirk.
QB draw for 90
Oh,
yards.
geez.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going full Chuck.
Throwing it over them mountains.
Yeah, no, that was Uncle Rico special right there.
Like, God bless him. He tried.
They tried. And again, the Vikings made this a game for a long time tonight. It was a one-score game late into the game, into the fourth quarter. That's a solid game early on. I know if you're a Vikings fan, you want to take one from the, defending NFC Super Bowl representative, but that was not that likely to happen. The Eagles would have had to play I would say a worse game than they played in the opening week, and they played, solidly but not great. They played better tonight in all phases, I think. And, Vikings put up a fight. This was not a lopsided affair from early on, but I'd say the result is one we probably expected.
Yeah, we didn't get there down the path that we thought we would, but we still got to the final result that we thought we would. But yeah, entertaining game overall. Remember, tomorrow on this channel, we have our week 2 preview for all the Sunday/Monday slate coming out. And then on Monday, we are reviewing that slate. Everything that happened on Sunday, we'll have our Monday morning reaction show coming out. So hope you guys stick with us for those 2 episodes. And then next Thursday, we'll be back here for another Thursday night stream. We appreciate everybody who came by to hang out with us tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. With that, EJ,